Hi, everyone, and welcome to Book Club with Bay. I'm Bay, and this is Bay. Say hi, Bay.
Hi, Bay.
And this is Other Bay. Say hi.
Hello.
And today we were talking about If I Die by Rachel
Vincent.
Okay, thank you. I was like, are we talking about Rachel Vincent? Who the fuck wrote this book? And this is the
Whatever book.
fifth.
Fifth?
The first book that doesn't sound like all the other books. Book in the Soul Screamer series. This is the first book that I actually know what the title is. Because all the other books are like My Soul to That. But they all sound like what it should. It's a whole thing. I don't know. I'm sorry. It's 7 a.m. I'm tired. So ratings. First of all, I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah, overwhelmed for sure.
Overwhelmed.
There was a lot.
Overwhelmed and yet still disappointed.
Yeah, do we do the stan or the not stan?
No stan.
Oh, I stand.
Yo, I stand up until like the last chapter or two, and then I don't.
Okay, yeah, I can get with that.
Come on, you both know that you hoped it was permanent. That was just it.
Oh yeah, no, I was like, yay!
Like I am willing to sacrifice Todd if the existence ends there.
Yeah, but there was no way it was going to be permanent, which I'm not that mad about it because I need more Todd in my life.
Yeah, I think it shows just what an awful MC you have when she's having a full breakdown because she's about to die in 3 days. And she finally has a full blown epic meltdown, breakdown, sobbing, and I'm just like, shut up. That was my response. I was like, shut up. No one cares about your death date, Kaylee.
Yeah, because she's like, oh no, I'm gonna die, and I was like, yay. Good.
Yeah,
I mean,
she gets immortality.
I was like, you're not gonna, but like, a girl can dream.
She did die.
Technically,
yeah,
she did.
but like not in any
We know it's not permanent
way.
Yeah.
I mean, also she didn't die. She died how like vampires die. She died and got an upgrade.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
And
if
you die with benefits,
is it really death?
Is it really death?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, poor freaking a few books ago we weren't gonna say this, but poor freaking Nash.
I feel no sympathy for Nash.
Oh, he does a couple of dodgy shit this book, right? But he catches his brother cheating on him with his girlfriend cheating on him with his brother, then gets framed for her murder by her.
Okay, but he
gets framed for a double not just her murder, a double homicide by her, and then he has to live with the knowledge that his brother and his now ex-girlfriend get to live literally for eternity with each other.
And while there is a very good while there is a very, very good explanation for the framing thing, and while if Nash ever gets clean and calms down, he could probably be like, okay, I understand.
Yeah,
the rest of it, yeah. And that's just stop twisting the knife into poor Stefan's heart. Poor Stefan.
He did do a bad though. He did do a bad.
He did a really bad.
He did one bad, but it was bad.
Yeah, it was a big naughty.
Yeah, the rest that I'm not gonna lie as well. Todd angered me.
When did Todd anger you?
When I don't like Kaylee, but she had a point where she was like, we're horrible people. Your brother's a freaking addict, and he's still actively having an issue. And then he catches us playing in the freaking hallway, and And Todd's just like, it's not your fault. And she's like, but we had a part of it. He's like, it's not your fault. And I was like, fuck off, Todd. That is your baby brother who you died for.
That's true. That is true.
Like, no. Like, yes, Nash chose to do a thing. I get it. But he's also vulnerable. And you're a bad person if you don't feel a smidgen guilty.
Yeah. I mean, so one thing hey Pat, how's it going? One thing that I wrote down about that part is like, you know, when it comes to addicts and stuff like that, any kind of like addiction, you know, whenever like there's a stressor or something, especially if somebody's like in early recovery, which Nash would be, it's been 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't really control how somebody's going to react to stressors.
Yep.
And like how they react to stressors is not your fault. But also, you know, if you
The
cheat on,
presentation of the stresses.
but you cheating on them is very clearly a stressor that you did present, which is rude.
Like in this situation, Kaylee and Todd did not pull the trigger, but they loaded the gun and handed it to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like like my thing is, you know, in 99% of cases, typically if you're like, oh, I feel like it was my fault that somebody relapsed or something, probably not. But also if you made out with their brother in front of them,
then probably.
Then like, you know, that might have contributed. Like maybe,
when you're about to die.
Yeah. Like it also after you were like, you can't hang out with anybody but me. Because I'm in love with you. Like, you know, maybe then. So case by case. But, you know, but we're also talking about a fictional scenario.
Yeah.
So like that's the other thing that's really hard to, that's why it's also kind of hard to talk about like addiction when it comes to like fictional scenarios versus like real life scenario, because like that scenario is so ridiculous that it's like, okay, in that case, yeah, the relapse, like the stressors that led to the relapse were entirely Kaylee and Todd's fault.
Yeah.
So there's that. But you know, IRL, if you find a way to like know exactly the day that you're going to die, manipulate somebody into not having any other support system other than you, and then also be a shitty support system, and then cheat on them with their brother after doing that.
Yeah, with whom they have a tumultuous relationship.
Yeah. You know, obviously you are an abusive and shitty person. So
yeah.
So
like,
there's that.
Yeah. Nash has a level of responsibility here, sure. But that doesn't mean that, and I'm sorry, Todd, but it doesn't mean that, like, neither Kaylee or Todd, but probably more so Kaylee. Oh, no, it's because at least she feels bad. I don't know.
Yeah, Kaylee at
They're
least
not
does.
good people in this.
Kaylee does at least have, like, does at least show remorse for it.
Yeah, but in the most annoying way. As well, that was.
But she, like, you know, we'll get into it when we get there, because I think it'll be easier to talk about in context. So, getting into the whole thing. Okay.
New math teacher is hot.
Yeah. So the new math teacher is hot.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's about to die, and then it takes Kaylee so Danica, this girl, she's like hemorrhaging on the ground, and then Kaylee's like, but Danica's not dying. I wonder what's happening. And immediately I was like, she's having a miscarriage.
Yeah.
And then 5 years later, Kaylee's like, oh, she's having a miscarriage.
There is a major plot hole here, though, because she sees the baby's soul.
Yes.
What have we learned about incubus babies this book?
They don't have souls.
So whose fucking soul did you see? Because they don't miscarry the girls. Because the girls are just human babies. Rachel Vincent didn't think that one through.
That
You're right.
yeah.
I didn't pick up on it until I read it this time because I listened to this series like at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I remembered the lack of a soul problem when that scene was happening, but I didn't piece it together last time. It was only like now. I was like, how? Whose soul are you fucking seeing?
And also, like, her having a miss.
Although, because she did say that the soul kind of like sunk back into her, so maybe like when they're fetal, they share mummy's soul, so the soul was like, you know, like, and then stretching back into mummy.
Yeah, but we don't get that explanation either, and like,
No, it's never addressed again.
it's never addressed. And also, the thing is, like, the way to fix it would literally just be to not have that happen and to have her just have a miscarriage. But I guess at the same time, you could also really offend people by doing that and having somebody miscarry and have it not whatever. But also, if it was like, well, she miscarried an incubus baby, so it didn't have a soul, then it would be like, okay, that's why. So that would also be like a really easy thing to fix if that was like why it was changed. Because maybe like in the original draft, and then the publishers were like, well, it's offensive for a baby not to have a soul. And it's like, well, it's literally a plot point. So
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's why the soul kind of just like went back into her. But yeah, it wasn't really
it's not really explained.
expanded, you know. So I don't know. I don't know.
That's one thing about like published books like this is that believe it or not, because I know House of Knights is a thing, they can make executive decisions like the editors and stuff, and the publishing houses to change something if they think it'll be offensive.
Yeah.
And so like in Rachel Vincent's defense, if it was originally like if originally the plot hole wasn't there, they might have made her change it.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say.
Yeah. I was gonna say something and I freaking lost it. God damn it. Never mind. If it comes back to me, I'll say it. But that's what I was gonna say. Yes, before I forget, because I don't know if I'll remember later. I don't know how you guys felt about this. Maybe it's just the mom in me, but I'm not gonna lie. Like, I mean, I didn't feel bad for whatever what's Mr. Beck.
Mm-hmm.
I did not feel bad. Like when he was like, I was like, yeah, shut up. When he was doing his little thing at the end. But I felt really bad about the baby, even though I know it's evil.
I felt bad about the baby too.
Evil boy incubus baby.
Yeah, I gave zero shits about Beck's grief over the baby, but I was just like, oh, a little like I just have a mental image of like this little baby like just slowly dying, and I'm just like, because at that point they're still just a baby. I'm like, maybe Damien could grow up not to be the son of Satan.
Yeah. Yeah. Like maybe it won't kill high schoolers. Like I don't know. Like you know, like I know that's like it doesn't have to reproduce. Like,
but Lydia came back. This book,
she did fucking finally.
She'll be back again.
When she's free in the world, I'm assuming she's gonna come back again.
Yeah, she'll come back.
Yeah,
I'm glad she's back. So Danica has now had a miscarriage.
Yep.
And also we are technically back together with Nash.
Yep.
Yes.
It's been 6 weeks since this last book.
Yeah, so it's been Yeah, so it's been 8 weeks since Nash's last puff of frost.
Yeah. About 8 weeks. Or about 2 months.
Yeah. Which is still pretty early, especially
That's not even 90 days yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8 weeks is like
a blip.
That's I can't do math in my head. How long is that? How many days is that? 8 weeks.
56.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not very long.
Yeah, so we're not even at like the 60-day mark.
Well, I think by the time he relapsed, he might have been at 60 days.
Yeah. Also, did you guys
Yes.
know that Harmony was blonde?
I didn't. I mean, I figured Harmony was blonde since, like,
I
think
thought she was.
I think I did know because we were told that Todd looks like Harmony.
yeah, Todd's supposed to be blonde, even
You know,
though
I always forget that Harmony's blonde until like it says that Harmony's blonde. I'm just like, oh fuck, I thought you looked like Nash.
But also like I always forget that Nash has dark hair and Todd has blonde hair.
Yeah.
Because in my head, like I know it's super cliche, but in my head, like the jock point of the love triangle always has blonde hair, and like the dark mysterious point of the love triangle always has like dark hair and is always like ooh mysterious.
It's also
huh?
It's also Ian Somerhalder. So.
Yeah, like in my head,
Todd is Ian Somerhalder.
Todd is Ian Somerhalder.
Yeah, I still don't forgive the soul patch though, or whatever the fuck.
We don't talk about it.
We just don't talk about it. Yeah.
And yeah, like in my head, Todd is Ian Somerhalder, and although it's hard to keep that up with the fucking voice that he's given, so he's a great value Ian Somerhalder, and then
he's big.
Nash is like great value Paul Wesley in my head.
I agree with great value Paul Wesley, but since I'm reading, I can make my own voice for Todd.
Yes, you can.
I
Holder. Like I don't know how you would have felt if you had listened to that whole speech with this voice.
Honestly, it makes every single speech Todd ever gives Kaylee like super dorky.
Yeah, I don't.
Like he's like, "You're the love of my life. You're the best part of my existence." Thank you for granting my time. Sorry. I need to watch myself as well because whenever I do Todd imitation, I end up speaking with a vocal fry for a minute afterwards. It's like residual. So I'm just gonna do this because I think it helps stop it. I just press my throat.
Speaking of great voices, I don't know if you saw this, Addie, but we now have all the chapters of BCBUR.
I assumed with Kieran's messages at 3 a.m.
What?
I assumed with Kieran's messages at 3 a.m. we got it all because he said like, God, we could get the initial phase done before Christmas, and I was like, oh.
And I will say, Froggy from Little Rascals, his voice is more amusing than Todd's. Todd's is not a love interest voice of neither's Froggy, sure, but
yeah. So one thing that's like, just to contrast this real quick, one thing that's been really cool with Kieran is that like we make notes for him and stuff in the manuscript, but there have been very specific times where he'll like do stuff in other parts of the book. Like he'll catch on to things like we didn't even like notate, and we'll be like, oh my god, like we didn't even tell you to do that. Or like there's a part in the book where like you see Aiden before he's a person. And I don't think we noted that in the manuscript.
No.
But he was like, I think this character is a character. And so he gave like this random encounter, like this character that was in like a random encounter, a normal voice and not an NPC voice.
Yeah, he's so good at NPC voices though. His NPC
He really is. They're really funny. But he didn't give it like an NPC voice, and he double checked with us. He was like, I didn't give this an NPC voice, and I don't feel like I should have. Was I correct? And we were like, yes, actually.
That's Aiden.
We were like, yeah, that's Aiden. And he was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. And so like he's so good at like picking up on stuff like that. Even when we forget to like note it.
He's such a good boy.
He really is. It's really awesome. You know, yeah, we stand. It's really great.
I have a Suki spawn. I'll be back in a sec.
Okay.
Oh, her picture's different. Aww.
Yeah.
Looks so good.
Yeah, so we're back together with Nash. It's been 6 weeks. The new team, yeah, we find out that Mr. Beck is not human. And that's like, other than, oh no, ooh, Kaylee's gonna die. That's the plot. So Kaylee gets home and Todd is there at the house and she's like, why is Todd talking to me, Dad?
Yeah, she's very confused. She's like, they don't like each other. Why?
And honestly, I would be very confused too if my not boyfriend that my dad didn't like was just standing in my kitchen having a conversation with my father. I would be like, what the fuck? And so, you know, Dad's just like, you're gonna die. And I was like, yes, confetti. Somebody get cake. Oh, sorry, wrong reaction. Okay. Oh no, Kaylee, no. Oh, no.
I mean, we all knew it was gonna be fine, so it's kind I'm just like, okay, she's probably gonna end up a Reaper adjacent. And
yeah, that's what I figured too. I was like, okay, yeah, I figured like she's not, because I figured like given everything we knew about Reaper, she can't become a Reaper. So I was like, Reaper adjacent, or they're just gonna not have it be a thing. Also spoilers because, you know, book club with Bay, not spoiler free book review with Bay. I am really glad that it wasn't just like we stopped it from happening altogether. Like, I'm glad that she did die and then they did something afterward. Because if we had gone through this whole rigmarole and then it was like, oh, good, you're not dead at all and nothing's changed, I would have been like, I'm gonna.
Yes, I'm glad they actually he had the gonads to actually kill her.
Yeah, I know that like it's not a real death, but or like a death that like she is dead and now she is gonzo. But I'm glad that it's like the status quo has actually changed.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm also glad we finally decided to fucking tell Sophie everything.
How did we not tell Sophie everything?
Huh?
How did we not tell Sophie
everything? I know.
Like how?
Thank God we finally did that.
Right. So in any case, so
there were a couple of times in this book, and one of them's already happened but like where Sabine was literally my spirit animal, and the first I texted you guys because Sabine just mentions offhand that Mr. Beck's not human. And Kayla's like, well, what is he? And Sabine's just like, I'm not a mind reader, although that wouldn't have helped because it's not like people just walk around going, oh, gee, I'm an evil blah, 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 hell-bent on wreaking havoc. I hope no one ever hears my thoughts.
Yeah, like, when you think about it, like, I know people are like, oh, I wish I could read minds. But, like, if you could read my mind, a lot of times it would just be something like, I need to, like, pick up the bottles in my room. Do I have enough, like, green paint? I'm not even painting anything. Why do I care about green paint? I shouldn't be caring about green paint.
Dude,
I like music. Like, that would just be... And I'm pretty sure that's, like, most people's brains is not even, like, they're not thinking about you. They're just thinking, like, something about, like, the TV show they watched. Or, like, I wonder if, like, Vikings wore socks. Like...
Yeah, do you remember, in My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, Equestria Girls, Legend of Everfree?
Yes.
When Sunset Shimmer touches Pinkie Pie.
Yes.
And gets a glimpse into her mind, and she's just so disturbed afterwards.
And she's just like, what the fuck?
I feel like that makes so much sense.
Yeah. Yeah. But I was also like, honestly, if you want to know what it would be like to be inside of my brain half the time, that's a bit what it's like.
It'd be that, but less, you know.
It's less like bouncy and Pinkie Pie-ish, but if you want to know how books get written, that's how. It's that mess, and then you kind of write it down. Books. Anyway.
Yes.
So she named her dog Styx.
So I wrote down Stixies in this book.
You did. So like I'm assuming it means like the river Styx from like.
What's the spelling?
STYX.
Okay. Yeah.
I
mean, it would have been cool though if that was Sabine's dog's name.
Yeah. So Kaylee doesn't seem cultured enough to know about that, but whatever. Anyway, so Dad's really, really upset. that she's gonna die, which, like, yeah.
I guess.
So she dies next Thursday.
And we're on Monday.
No, it dies in 6 days.
Oh yeah, sorry. We have the week. We can more or less just gloss over the weekend, though, don't we?
Yeah.
Because she finds out, and then it's Monday morning.
Oh yeah,
Can we just real quick? I know that she's like hell bent on dealing with incubus teacher, but at this point, she doesn't know he's an incubus, and this motherfucker keeps going to school and going to work. If I knew for a fact that I was going to die in 6 days, you could not get me to go to school.
Oh.
Yeah. Although, like, she does actually start to like
Fuck off at school though.
I guess actually have some character traits that aren't just like, oh, I'm so self-righteous.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like when like her and Nash get like a detention, like the teacher's really that strict. Like, do you get detention for like doing a little peck?
They didn't really do detention at our school.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that got one. Do you know anybody that got detention?
I don't think. I mean, they had like the writing, but that was only in 6th grade, where you didn't have break.
Yeah, but that was like that was just like a weird time, and but like yeah, I know that people got suspended for doing shit, but like you had to do some shit.
Yeah, I don't really know how they punished people.
But also at our school, making out in the hallways wasn't really like a big problem.
No,
Well, it generally isn't. Like, people aren't like generally
people aren't actually making
each
out
other
in
at
the hallways.
school.
They go find somewhere to go make out.
But they weren't even making out. It was more of like a mwah.
Yeah.
But even
Although,
sorry,
no, you go first because mine's on a different point.
I was just gonna say, like, even at our school, from what I remember, maybe it was just our school and just like the environment, but people generally knew just like not to do that,
Or to be very quick about it.
or to be very quick about it. And also, like, if it was the seniors, teachers didn't care, like, as long as you were very quick about it. But even like when people were younger, if like you had a boyfriend and you hugged them or something, the teachers didn't really care. It was more like, as long as you were doing something that was age appropriate,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
they were okay, if that makes sense. So
Yes. Yeah,
like,
the teachers didn't really care. Yeah, until I don't remember what grade we were in, but I don't know how to. When someone in our grade was dating a 7th grader,
yes,
and the teachers got involved.
yeah. So like, for example, when we were in like, I don't know, like when we were in 8th grade, or whatever, and like people were dating, if you like hugged your boyfriend, you didn't get in trouble for that. When we got older, if like there was like quick, you didn't get in trouble for it. It was just like, as long as it was quick, age appropriate, and like it wasn't prolonged, whatever, that was fine. And basically, I mean, because of the school we went to, I think it was just like the social environment. People kind of just stuck to it. Like, you had a couple kids that were,
and
real,
people
like,
kind of knew not to make out in the hallways. Like,
like, but like I said, I don't know what it's like at other schools, just because our school was such a very specific kind of place. So
yeah, I mean, like, I went to okay, when I was in year 8, there was a pregnant girl in year 7. Like that's the high school I went to. We had multiple teen pregnancies at my high school. I don't recall ever seeing anyone behaving in a way that was like, oh God, get a room at school.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Don't recall it. Yeah, like there was obviously like, you know, couples of girlfriend holding hands, and I was like, oh, lunch is over. We've got to go off to our respective classes. Mwah! I'll see you after school. You know, that stuff. But yeah, okay. What a freaking pretty school if like just doing a little mwah, good morning, boo boo, gets you detention.
Yeah.
But then when Kaylee gets it, she's like, you know what? Fuck it. And then she kisses Nash again and gets another one. She's like, so what? And I'm like, you know what? You actually have a personality. Like, why couldn't you have almost, like, why couldn't you death date rock up book 1?
I mean, something I've noticed about a lot of books is that, and just it's like not just books, like media in general, is that like main characters will usually be the blandest out of all the characters, and it's like I don't understand why that is, because
like, they don't have to be.
Yeah, and I think it's because people are worried about like the main character having like unlikable traits or whatever, but it usually makes the main characters unlikable.
Yeah, I mean, like a good example of having, because I think part of it as well is a lot of, especially with like urban fantasy type books or anything like that, you got a specific target audience, and it's not the popular cheerleader type stereotype girl. It's more of the awkward, like socially awkward, semi-outcast person, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But a good way of having a relatable basis of a character, but then also making them interesting is like Morganville, for example. Claire is supposed to be like a somewhat, from the outside, bland individual, but she's not a bland character.
Yeah, well, because she also has like very specific interests, and like I feel like a lot of people are worried that giving your main character a very specific interest or whatever is going to make them like isolating. But the thing is, when you think about like your own friends or whatever, like the three of us share a lot of common interests, but there's stuff that I'm into that you guys are not into, and that you guys are into that I'm not into. But like that doesn't make you hate me, obviously. At least it's not as far as I
don't know that.
Oh shit!
You should see our one-on-one chat about you. Ooh.
But it doesn't like make you hate like that's not going to make you hate a character.
We just plan how she's gonna come here and not tell you, and we're gonna get Chick-fil-A together. And we're gonna Kelowna dance in the Chick-fil-A parking lot.
I'm so sad. So the fact that Claire's really into like science and stuff, like even if you're not into that, like people in your personal life that you love who are into things that you're not into, and like that's totally cool.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie, like I mean, like yeah, like there are some things relating to physics I'm just like, oh well, that's cool,
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, there's like a lot of, because when you're reading about a character who has like no personality, it's really hard to latch on to anything. But like if you're reading about a character that has personality and has personality traits that are different from yours or interests that are different from yours, it's much easier to latch onto a character that doesn't that you don't directly relate to and relate to them if there's something there than it is to relate to a character who has nothing going on.
I think part of what the mistake they make is they try and make their MC as much of a blank canvas as possible, so you can like in your head, especially first person books, but they're like, I am the protagonist.
Yeah.
Whereas like most people reading the books, they're like, the protagonist is my best friend. Like that should be the goal. The protagonist is your best friend. Like you have that much emotionally invested in them.
Well,
like,
yeah,
I've never read a book and just gone, I am the protagonist.
Yeah, I've never felt that way either. Like, I mean, and like I think one of the reasons why I enjoy Mark Lawrence books so much is just because Jorg and Jalen have so much personality.
Oh god, yeah.
They're just so much fun to read. And like I don't have anything in common with them, mostly like partly because they're men, but also they're just so much fun. And like even then like Mercy, I mean, I have more in common with Mercy than most other MCs I've ever read about.
Yeah.
But like she has a lot of personality. She's got a lot going on.
And there's plenty to dislike about Mercy as well.
Yeah.
Like Ben. We're not gonna get into Ben.
But it's also, but I think that just goes to show
like likable.
But I think it just goes to show too that like you can also disagree with the main character and still like them and still enjoy what's happening. But I think it's much better to like have a main character that like I can kind of disagree with what's going on, but I can also still like I know what Mercy likes. I know what she doesn't like. I know that she bakes when she's sad. I know that she's got a history degree. I know that she wanted to teach, but she's glad she's a mechanic. Like, and you know, and I know that she, her room was only clean when she was really stressed out. Like, these are things that I know about Mercy. I don't know anything about Kaylee.
I know that she
Really, really liked Nash.
That's all I know.
I know that she has a dad named her dad's
Aiden.
Aiden. Yeah, Aiden. Yes, no, sometimes in my head I get Aiden and Brandon confused, and I'm like, no, wait, Uncle Brandon, Aiden is daddy.
I know her mom died, but like I don't like what does Kaylee do when she's stressed other than whine? I like because we never see Kaylee get stressed and
her and Emma eat fish food.
Yeah, because like you know, in like the Mercy books, for example, just to go back to that, as always, when Mercy gets stressed, she bakes. She bakes, and so we know we know, and that's like just a little thing. Like we know what Mercy does. Like we know that when George gets stressed, he gets a prostitute and kills somebody. Like it's not healthy, but we know what happens when George is stressed. We know that when Jalen gets stressed, he gets drunk out of his mind. Like
we know that when Nash gets stressed, he huffs some frost. It's fine.
Like these are certain situations where it's like when these people get stressed, we know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And we know things about their personality, whereas like Kaylee, she never it's kind of like a House of Night problem where it's like, I don't know anything about you.
Yeah.
You're just a vehicle for the story. You're not a person.
Oh, we missed the thing as well.
Okay.
So immediately after Kaylee finds out she's gonna she's like, oh well, I ain't down with dealing with this right now, okay? Because no, this is too like, which I get. If I found out, I'm like, I need a freaking minute, and I would yeet for a bit there.
Yeah.
She goes to the hospital to visit Danica, and she's like, everyone's saying it was a miscarriage, and she knows it was a miscarriage. And Danica's like, yeah, what's a miscarriage? And she's like, oh, well, at least you can have babies in the future, though. And she's like, no. My uterus is jacked up. Like, it's fucked. Like, and you know, boyfriend's dumped her because not his baby. And she won't say who it is, but Kelly's like, it must be Mr. Bax. I don't know, like,
because she knows that she knows that Danica was getting tutored by Mr. Beck.
No, I think that I know, but like it's just like she was getting tutored by him, and that Sabine let slip at lunch that he's not human.
Yeah, that's the extent of her suspicion.
I think one of the most annoying things about the series is Kaylee just makes wild assumptions that have no business being accurate, but then they're accurate.
Yeah, like I get that was accurate, but it's like, why was that accurate?
Like,
you know,
okay, like if Nash had been tutoring her, for example, and she got knocked up, the same reasoning as well, Nash isn't human.
Wait, sorry, what
like Nash isn't human. Why couldn't you know, so not human does not inherently mean bad, as she should know, as she is a banshee and she herself is not human.
Right, and at this point too, they don't know what he is. They just know like he's not human and he tutored her. And that's all they know at this point.
Yeah.
Whereas like this is one of those things where like they could have gotten to the same place with in a more logical way.
Yeah. Like maybe Kaylee had been noticing shit. Him acting somewhat shady in some way.
Or even if you wanted the pacing to stay the same, which given that you have all the death stuff to deal with, that's fine. I can understand wanting to expedite the process and like keep it simple.
Yeah, have him visit her at the hospital or something, and then Kaylee would be like, fuck is Mr. Beck doing here?
Or you could even have her say like, or you can even just have her, sorry, because Danica's alone in the hospital, right? And she's having like all those problems. You could even just have Danica be really stressed out and have her start breaking down and crying and being like, I can't tell anybody who the father is. I can't tell anybody. Like
he'd lose his job.
Like he loses job. Like everybody would freak out. Everybody would freak out. I can't tell anybody. I can't tell anybody because
that hints that it's inappropriate.
Because now it's like, okay, weird miscarriage. She can't tell anybody. She can't tell anybody. She can't tell anybody. She can't tell anybody.
New teacher.
And the pacing could be the exact same.
Yeah. Another thing as well that I've noticed is a running theme. And I don't know if it was just in this book or just throughout the series as well as, because then Kaylee goes home from the hospital, like Todd, he's like, hey, I came to do or find you. And she's like, well, I got to drive home now because I got to go meet your brother, my boyfriend. And he's like, oh, I'll come with you. And then Nash like, what are you doing with my girlfriend? She's going to die. Kaylee, why didn't you tell me you were going to die? And she's like, because I literally found out half an hour ago. And it's a thing in this series, I feel, that someone finds out information, does not get a chance to tell anyone yet. And then everyone's like, why didn't you tell me sooner? And it's like, because I've known for 0.3 seconds.
Yeah. It's because I literally just fucking found out, and I'm sorry that my first instinct was not to, call you.
Yeah, yeah, she finds out, she goes to the hospital, she's probably there for about 20 minutes, right? Okay, she's probably there for about an hour. All things, because time moves differently in books, we know that. And yeah, she hasn't spoken to that. She hasn't spoken to anyone except the two people that told her. And the miscarry girl. And she's not going to be like, hey, Danica, did you know I'm going to die next week?
Yeah.
Danica, bestie.
She hasn't had a chance to tell you yet, Nash. Why are you so mad?
And that's
Daddy should have kept his mouth
a phone call or a text or something. That's a, hi, we need to have a conversation.
Well, and and he's also like, I can't believe you missed our date. And she's like, well, I found out I was going to die. And then he was like, well, I can't believe you didn't immediately come cry on my shoulder. And it's like, look, here's the thing.
Sometimes
I guess
you need a minute.
And I guess it's hard to say, is this how Kaylee would normally respond to stress? Because like we talked about, we don't really know. But at the same time, if how she normally responds to stress is I need a minute.
Yeah.
And at the same time, there's a difference between a stressor that might make you do something like bake cookies and hey, you're gonna die.
Yeah. No ifs, no buts, no coconuts. You're dying next week.
Yeah. And I have no idea how I would take that news. But I don't know if I would immediately call Noah and be like, I need to cry on your shoulder, or if I would be like, I need to take a hike, or whatever. I don't know what I would do.
There's a good chance that you'd need a minute just to to have a breath.
Yeah.
And then call and be like, you need your butt here now so I can cry. And he's like, why? And you're like, good, get here.
I'll tell you here.
Yeah.
I will say, when I didn't get a chance to properly have a minute when I found out I was pregnant the first time or whatever, because I was just expecting a test to come back negative and be like, okay, stop stressing now, it's fine. Then it came up double blind. It was first thing in the morning, and I just went and sat on the bed, and I'm like, I was trying to process, and he's thinking my mum's dead or something because I just started crying. Because you're prodding me while I'm processing it, so I cry, And then I just pegged the test at him, and I just couldn't talk. And I'm like, I don't you're overwhelming my process. And I feel like that's what Nash was trying to do, overwhelm Kaylee's process.
Mm-hmm.
It's rude. I don't like Kaylee, but it's rude.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
Yeah, so.
Kaylee's also decided she's an emancipated minor until she dies.
Honestly, though, I would too. I would be like, no, rules don't apply to me. So.
Yeah.
And she also decides that okay, Nash, we're gonna bounce chicka wow wow.
Because she wants to know she doesn't want to die a virgin. Not because she wants to like Nash, but because she just doesn't want to die a virgin.
And Nash is like, I don't know how I feel about that. And I'm like, yeah, that's a bad idea.
And she's like, I'm the one. I will say though as well though, like, and she does. I can't get too annoyed with her for playing the trump card because there are a few times where she's like, hello, soon to be dearly departed.
Yeah, I mean,
I get trump card.
And look, I do understand not wanting to die a virgin and being like, I have a perfectly good boyfriend. But you know,
she doesn't want to blank her own boyfriend, man.
But at the same time, every time they get close, she's just like, I don't think I want to do this, but okay. And I'm like, oh,
and then Todd's like, hi guys, howdy do.
Yeah, yeah. So there's that. So yeah. In the end, and Todd does keep cock blocking them. So there's that.
Yep. And this is,
and now we're to the thing. Because so they get interrupted, but then and then it's a little bit later, and so Nash is coming over because her dad's out or whatever. Because her dad is like, I'm going to fix you, and she's like,
Dundee, stop.
Yeah, she's like, please stop. And so in any case, because so real quick, she can't be swapsied
anymore. Yeah,
she's already swapsied.
Yeah,
but also.
One swapsied.
I want to there was an elephant in the room real quick. Her mom was going to die early too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like poor freaking Aiden. I mean, that said though, if they didn't do a swapsido, well, one, we wouldn't have to deal with Kaylee, and two, they might have had some more kids that would have lived past 3. Really, they fucked up.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
they the wrong kid.
But I do like that nobody even that crossed nobody's mind. Oh crap, my mom would have died 13 years after this. Because also I wonder what would have happened to kill whatever. Anyway, so Nash is coming over and she's like, we're gonna bounce chicka wow wow. I can't ask Emma about sex because Emma's at work or something, and I can't Google it. And I was like, but okay, first of all, real quick, why couldn't she Google it?
I think it was because Nash was going to be there in 9 minutes, and it would take her computer 5 minutes to start up. And with my old computer, I can relate to that issue. But also, why is your computer off when it takes that long to start up? You just leave it on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kaylee compulsively turns off her computer, and I don't understand it. Put it in sleep and reboot it when it gets too slow. So this dumbass, instead of just winging it,
which is advice you're gonna get from someone.
Which honestly, do what everybody else did and just fucking wing it, okay?
Yeah, and I mean, I can understand needing a bit of at least a little bit of pointers when you're both virgins, because neither of you know what the fuck you're doing. You just know that a P somehow gets in a V and somehow a cum happens at some point. And I imagine it's probably like 2 jellyfish trying to dance. I don't know.
Yeah, I've never been in that situation.
Me neither. But Nash knows what he's doing. He's been quite a promiscuous boy.
He's had lot boink.
Yeah, he's had lot boink.
Yeah. And it's not like a guy knows that his girlfriend's a virgin and just goes, porn star time. No,
it's 8 o'clock.
Sometimes they do.
Did a clock just talk?
Hers did.
Okay. I was like, what the fuck was that?
No, nothing. No, nothing happened.
Yeah, sometimes they do, which is bad, by the way. But in any case,
what? I have no doubt Nash was gonna, ease her into the act.
Yes.
Because that's what a good boyfriend does with his virginal girlfriend.
Yes. So, but instead she calls Sabine.
And she's like, how do I fuck Nash?
And Sabine,
really don't want to do this.
And Sabine, Lord bless her, is just like, why the fuck would you call me?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, why would you think I would in any way facilitate this?
Yeah, you have the man that I want.
And so Kaylee, in all her brilliant wisdom, goes, well, so you should let me boink him now, and then after I'm dead, you get dibs. And Sabine's like,
yeah, like no, not just that. If you do not help me, I will tell Nash that I could never, ever, ever rest peacefully, knowing that there was an opportunity, like the potential for you to rekindle a flame.
Yep.
rude. You crazy bitch. That's so crazy.
That's so rude.
It's so manipulative and so insane. Like, and keep in mind, here's the thing. If she was supposed to be a manipulative piece of shit,
Mwah.
okay, I'm here for it. But she's not. And here's the other thing too. When a character is supposed to be manipulative and is supposed to be doing something bad, the text also has to agree that what they're doing is bad. So, like, for example, and these are just because it's like my two favorite books were like Jalen and Jorg. Like, Jalen's bad in a different way that Jorg is bad, but like Jorg is like objectively bad, and Jalen's just kind of a waffle. But the text itself agrees that they are not good people in the way that people react to what they're doing.
Yeah.
If that makes so, like
people does the thing, and everyone's like, "You're a monster."
Right. And like Jalen does a thing and everybody goes, what the fuck?
You're a doofus.
Yeah, because you're a doofus and you're irresponsible and how dare you? And I wish we had the real chosen one. So the text so the text responds in a way that makes sense because they're supposed to be like this. Whereas in this, Kaylee is supposed to be a good person. So when she behaves this way, the text does not respond appropriately. It responds as if this is okay.
Yeah.
I cannot. I
will say though,
oh my god.
I do appreciate that like Sabine like just keeps on like making little jabs like, oh well, you're doing me a massive favor on Thursday, you're gonna fucking cock it and I get to bang Nash again. But like in this scene, like she's like I did not know also that that an orgasm in French was le petit mort. Did not know that.
Oh.
It's the little death. But like Sabine also points out, kind of ironic for you, isn't it, Kaylee? I like Sabine when she does shit like that. Oh, do you like Sabine more this book, Addie?
Yeah, there's some sass in there, and we all know I like some sass.
Like, Sabine,
but there's the Nash obsession.
Yeah, but I'm like, why Nash?
Well, Sabine has some annoying qualities, and like, yeah, her and Nash have some codependence issues, but overall, I can't blame her for not liking Kaylee.
Yeah,
kind of like I can't blame Sophie for not liking Kaylee, and you know, I mean, when you think about how like Kaylee treats her, and the situation that Sabine was walking into at the end of the day, she was walking like. From Sabine's perspective, she walks in and Kaylee's like, I know you're on drugs and also I hate you, but, you know, beat yourself up forever and then I'll let you love me.
Yeah.
And Sabine was like, I'll just love you anyway. And Kaylee was like, how dare you? We're dating, except we're not. And
I mean, I will say as well, like, I guess I kind of also do get Sabine's Nash obsession because, like, he's literally the only person who hasn't been repulsed by her.
Yeah, and so she's also still a teenager as well.
Yeah, a very ill-adjusted teenager at that.
She's better adjusted than Kaylee. She at least knows. Don't call. I don't know what
your nemesis,
what their relationship to each other is, but don't call that person for advice on how to boink Nash.
Yeah, I will say though as well, it's really cute that like Sabine is like trying to like be like, Emma, please forgive me, I love you. It was like, fuck off, you tried to sell me to a hellion.
Is Sabine supposed to be Catherine?
Huh?
Sabine's supposed to be Catherine.
I don't think these are actually based on the vampire diaries.
No, I don't think it is either.
I know. Anyway, so yeah, so is it in
He
this
ends up giving
conversation
us some
that Sabine
advice.
is like, yeah, so Sabine gives her some advice, but we find out later that right after this conversation, Sabine calls Todd and is like, hey, they're gonna boink.
If you want to do something about that, you should go do something about that.
Yep. So then like Todd like yeets to like out he's being polite.
Yes.
Because I think Nash is like fully naked at this
Nash is butt ass naked.
Yeah, he is.
It's the first time Kaylee has seen a naked man in her life.
I still don't think she saw.
I don't think she saw him.
Yeah, I don't think she saw.
I mean, she avoided eye contact.
Like, there's something that's really weird. That like, I mean, you can have been having sex for God knows how long and other stuffs as well, because you usually do other stuffs before. You can go months without effort. Like, I don't know when it happened. I definitely wasn't recently virginal when I first saw one. It took a while. Like you don't, especially like when you're first starting as well. It's not light in the room. It's dark. You don't want to see people. Like no, you know. And you're under covers. Like you know, you aren't strip teasing for each other. I'm like, hey, here I am.
Yeah, like that's not how teenagers work.
Oh no. How dressed is Kaylee?
She's topless at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the extent of. I think she's topless, and I think she might be about to. I think she.
He was about to take off her pants.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about him being butt naked and her partly dressed.
I mean, at some point, it's kind of.
I know that I know that. I don't know. I guess I always feel weird about a guy being naked while undressed. That's weird.
I've never. Well, now that you say that,
Sometimes.
see, now I'm trying to think about like.
Sometimes they get undressed faster. And we have bras and stuff like.
No, I know, but when you're helping undress each other though as well though, I think she should be naked first. I don't approve of the order. It makes me personally, due to my own personal preferences, uncomfortable.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, because like now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, usually it's the other way around for me as well. I think, yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah, because it's like when it's mutual undressing or something. Like it takes you longer to get undressed. Like so like he's normally like I don't know, maybe down to his underwear or something. And it's a quick fix for him. He can just go and gone. Problem solved.
Yeah.
Whereas, we have all the extra stuff, so that has to get taken care of first. Otherwise, you're just standing there like a dick.
But while they're like about to blink, this entire time, Kaylee is just like, I don't know if I want to boink.
Yeah. Kaylee's unsure about the status of
Which, like, I'm really glad that they didn't boink, even like barring the Todd cock block, which was a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that they didn't boink. And one thing that I can say about these books is I do like the message that even if the guy is hot, even if he's a good boyfriend and a hot boyfriend, you do not have to want to boink him, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I like that message, that like, it's okay to not feel comfortable, and that there can be some incongruity between like, I feel like I'm ready to have sex, but not with you.
Yeah.
Because I'm ready to have sex, and I'm ready to have sex with you specifically are two completely different emotions.
Okay.
And so I do like that.
Even when you're not virginal as well, that's often still.
Yeah, for sure. And so I do like that that's actually explored in this, and it's done, and it's actually, and this is one thing that these books actually do fairly well. So, because I feel like in a lot of YA books, it's pretty much just the girl is like, let's do boink now.
I
Boink
would
now.
boink.
Yeah, which is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that either. But I do like that there is also some like diversity and emotion here. I think that's good. I think it's good too.
She was down to just her underwear.
Okay.
Because Todd walks in while she's still pantless. And then turns around while she repants.
Oh, well, Todd was just getting a glimpse of his future. It's fine.
Yeah. So in any case, Todd walks in and they're like, ah!
Yeah.
And then
Wait, just addressing Pat, like a big thing that we have said in previous things about this as well, though, is like it is a warning sign, Kaylee, that if you do not want to do boink with Nash, but you are curious about doing fuck in general, though, Nash is not for you and leave him.
yeah, that's, and I think that's general life
'Cause
advice.
it's rude.
Also at any age, and not, but especially if you're a teenager, as we've said, if you were interested in sex but really uncomfortable with the idea of having sex with the person that you were dating, do some soul searching.
Do some soul searching.
Well, because look, as we've said,
Your sake for their sake.
well, as we've said, like, it's totally fine to not want to have sex with somebody, and you shouldn't feel pressured to want to have sex with somebody.
Yeah, well,
And you shouldn't have sex with somebody just because you're dating them. And if you do not want to have sex with somebody, then
don't.
Yeah, ultimately, you deserve to be with someone you want to boink.
Yeah, exactly.
And even if you are not ready to boink them yet, you still want to.
Yeah.
And they deserve to be with someone who wants to fuck them.
Yeah.
Like, you both deserve to be wanting to be fucked and to fuck.
Yeah. And
I wish I could have phrased that far less crudely.
Yeah.
But so.
But yeah,
and Nash should not be a thing.
But Pat, what I was saying was, one thing that I can say that I like about the series, especially since it's a series targeted towards teenage girls, is that I do like that it explores the topic of having a boyfriend that's like super hot and oh my god, he's amazing, but also having that incongruity of like, that's who your boyfriend is, but I'm not comfortable with having sex with him.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of times as like a teenage girl, you idolize like the idea of having like the jock boyfriend that everybody wants.
And boinking said jock boyfriend.
And boinking said jock boyfriend and all that kind of stuff. And like that being like the perfect thing. So I do like that the topic of like, what if you get there and it's not perfect and you don't want to boink him? Like, what if that happens? And I like that that's actually explored in this. So.
Well, I'm mental blanking. Butterscotch dance.
Yes, butterscotch dance.
Sorry, I was trying to think of the
boink is our new word for it.
Yeah.
Noah like originally said it, and then we haven't.
I said it when we were playing D&D.
Was it you? Oh, that's right. Yeah, because your
character kept trying to boink people.
Yeah, and then Noah was like, "You got punished because you kept on trying to boink people," and then it just became our word, guys.
And then we got mad at him for slut shaming you.
Yeah, and then he made Thor fall in love with Christian.
I know.
I'm still mad.
I'm still mad too. I'm still so salty about that because also Christian got so into it because we were trying to have a 3-way with Thor, but then Thor fell in love with Christian, and now Christian and Thor are.
I don't think he's gonna do it, but
I don't care. He might just to spite us.
He would.
He would. Sorry. Anger from D&D. Anyway.
Oh man, I miss it. I can't wait for Christmas to be over.
I know, right? Okay. In any case, so Nash is like, boner, I'm angry. Why are you here?
please go away.
And he's like, go away.
And
boink,
then
boink,
and
boink,
then Todd's
boink.
like,
Todd's like,
it's important. I have your rebirth's name, Kaylee.
yeah.
Who is it, Todd? Oh, it's the one that tried to kill you the first time, that killed your mother.
It's
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah. And also, like, at this point, too, Kaylee's super relieved that she doesn't have to boink,
Yes.
which is also red flag. So, yeah, so Nash finds out about the deal between, like, Kaylee and Sabine that makes it so that when he dies, Sabine gets him, and he's like, I'm not a
He was
toy.
left Nash to Sabine in her will.
Yeah, it's not like, if I were to write out a will, I would be like, so when I die, Addie gets all my nail polish.
Dang right I do. Vice versa.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like that, Can you imagine if it was just like, I hand over custody of my boyfriend to...
Don't do that to us. Don't give us Noah.
But
I think we're good.
yeah, but it's just like, it's weird because, again, like we said with love triangles and stuff, it is not up to the trianglees or whatever to decide how, like, the person being triangled is.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, when you think of a love triangle, think of it as an isosceles. The mutual interested person is the top of the isosceles, and the two people competing at the bottom two because they're equal.
Yeah.
It's not up to the bottom half part of the triangle. It's the top part's job.
Yeah, like, they're not a possession that you can, like, dictate to. And also, the other weird thing about love triangles is, like, it's always portrayed as if nobody in the triangle has any kind of independent agency, and all of these decisions have to be made by, like, okay, let's all three of us sit down, have a meeting, and decide how the boinking is going to occur. And it's like, all three of you have complete agency to go, not this.
I have zero for all of his faults, Mark. When Mark finally went, no, fuck this. If you can't love me more than you love Jace, I'm out. And he just yeets.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry.
I don't like him. He's a dick. So Rachel Vincent knows better too, because she wrote that series.
Yeah.
She knows that he can just yeet.
Like, I'm sorry, if Noah ever came to me and was like, look, there's this other girl, I would be like, okay, goodbye.
Goodbye. Looks like we're not moving in together. Sorry.
Yeah, I would be like, okay, cool. We do not have to argue about where to put the TV stand anymore.
Okay. I mean, I don't think you're going to be fine with the outcome, but also, like, you're still going to do what's best for you, though.
Well, I would not be happy at all. I would be very upset for a while, but at the same time, like, no.
You're not going to stand there and go, please love me more.
No, yeah. It would be, okay, fuck you, bye.
It would be like, if you even have to ask me the question, then, like, no. But anyway, so then we find, how do we find out the teacher's an incubus?
Sabine.
Yeah. So Sabine, we have Sabine, like, go up and, like, touch him and figure out what
not inappropriately.
Figure out what his fears are. And
then they deduce that he's a incubus.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, my breeding cycle, and I need to breed. I'm getting old and stuff like that. And so Sabine's like, I'm pretty sure he's an incubus because of what he said, because of what his fears are. Because, his fear isn't like, I'm an incubus and I don't want to be found out. His fear is like, I don't have.
He doesn't give a shit if he's found out. He just wants a son.
Yeah.
My son must be born in my fertile period.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
they also seem to get really, really, really upset at the comparison to I hate the term menstrual cycle, but that's what it is. It just sounds icky. But they're like, look, it's effectively just an extended menstrual cycle. It lasts for about 100 years, but you're only fertile for a year of it. Or 2 years, whatever it was. Well, that sounds pretty accurate. It literally is just an extended
Yeah.
But someone, I can't remember who, but someone got quite offended in the book when it was referred to as such.
Here's the thing, though. Anything that like reproduces sexually on a cycle, that's what do you think a menstrual cycle is?
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
It's just a boy with it. It's
Well,
just
and
a guy with it.
And there are some, I mean, there are some animals where like males go into like where they can only whatever.
Yeah. One thing I am curious about his thing though, because from what we've noticed with at least the 2 pregnancies that we know the details of how they occurred, it was a one-time thing.
Mm-hmm.
So is he just really lucky, or is he like a cat that has like a little spur on the end of his penis where he just like forces ovulation? Because if it's wham bam, thank you, ma'am, now you're pregnant. He either, especially with Emma's sister, he either has to have really lucky timing
Mm-hmm.
that she just happened to be fertile that night, or he can trigger ovulation.
Or like, can he sniff out an ovulation cycle?
I like to think he's like a cat.
Okay.
He has a little burr penis.
I mean, my other question would be like, well, I don't know how common it is for high school girls to be on birth control, but
It's getting more common nowadays, but back when this was written, I don't think it was.
Well, this is also Texas.
Yeah.
yeah, but still, like, I don't know. So
I feel like Tracy would have been on birth control. Maybe his sperm is just that powerful. Like if he triggers ovulation,
yeah,
then like birth control is meaningless if he can make it happen.
yeah.
So
So
he's an egg magnet and just draws him out.
So in any case, Alec now knows about the death date, and Thane, which is the Reaper, is like stalking her,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, no, not tell anybody.
Yeah, you can tell them
Or I killed daddy.
Or like, I'll kill your dad or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so so Alec tells us like everything that he knows about incubi, and so it's basically like they feed off of
Lust.
off of lust and boinky boinkness, and humans think they're really sexy or whatever, and also
we forgot as well. Danica's mother is in a coma, brain dead in the hospital as well. We forgot about that.
Also, this conversation was kind of funny to listen to, just because of like Alec's perspective on this. So just keep in mind, Alec was in the netherworld, so he's seen a lot of fucked up shit.
Mm-hmm.
But Alec was like, well, the human women are into it, and they're like, but they were drugged, basically. And he's like, yeah, but they like it, I guess.
Yeah.
So he's like, it's not
like, is it rape? And Sabine says no, or I think it's Sabine.
Yeah.
Sabine's like, oh, sorry, is it rape? And Sabine's like, hell yeah. And Alex is like, no, it's not rape. Like, she's down. She's down for it.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think we established that no, like it is rape because he like pheromone drugs her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's where we ended it. Like that's where they got to, yeah.
Yeah, but at least to like Kaylee's credit, we're not being too harshly judgmental of Alex, because he's seen a lot of people like dismembered and stuff like that. But yeah, drugging people, even if you can drug them to enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it I think where they draw like they end up falling on is it's pleasurable rape,
which is still rape.
Yeah.
In any case,
because like one thing we got from Danica as well was she knows that she willingly had sex with who we now have confirmed is Mr. Beck. She knows she willingly had sex with him and that she wanted to. She just has zero idea why. She's like, I don't know. I love my boyfriend.
Yeah.
I literally cannot tell you why I screwed my teacher. Couldn't tell you.
So the other thing is that I forget where it happens, but like Todd knows about Thane stalking her, but like nobody else knows about this. But so now we're like looking for other victims of Mr. Beck. And so we're doing like a whole bunch of research on the computer, trying to find other places he's worked because we know what his fertility cycle is. So we're looking for like in the past, like, you know, however long it's been, if anybody else been pregnant or like died or whatever. So,
and they find a thing about Farah.
Yes. And this is a girl in
the previous school.
Yeah, and this is a girl who's in the mental health ward where Kaylee was. And I was like, oh, we're gonna see Lydia again. So
so she's like, Todd, I need to do a sneak to a lakeside, and I need you to make me invisibles.
There's a lot of hand holding, and like this is actually
this is where she also clicks. This is where she also has like the first click of, oh, Todd's in love with me. I can't remember what he actually does. I just remember that she has it.
And
I think he said, "Oh, like I'd do anything for you" or something like that.
He's like, you know, someone has to chip down that armor and save you sometimes. Like,
yeah, and I think I said this like last stream, but some of the stuff that happened like in this scene
should have been happening.
Should have been happening like at least last book because it feels so sudden. Like at least Kaylee's realization. Because, like, I know comparing it to the Vampire Diaries, and I'm like we talked about the time frame, I'm sure it wasn't based on it, but like, Elena knows that Damon's in love with her in like season, you know, and like it doesn't need to be book 1 or anything, but at least like when she and like Nash break up, maybe like she can start looking elsewhere, like once her and Nash start having problems. But like,
and like Elena and Damon as well were having those moments, like, you know, like when she ends up being like, I need you to erase him from my mind thing, you know, it goes all the way back to when he stepped in to do the dancey dance with her.
Yeah.
And like you see it, like, you know, there'll be some, like they'll just have like these tiny little moments, and then you can actually see her actively fight her thing, and then, you know, then before she dies, she's like, I'm sorry, Damon. It's just I met him first. And so like she knows by that point. And that's still before they get together.
Yeah, and like with this, Kaylee hasn't really been having those moments.
Nope.
And she needs some of those moments to make this really drastic switch from I'm obsessed with Nash to like, yeah, fuck it, I'm in love with Todd. Yeah. And because it really is like complete 180. And the other thing is like, the only reason why I think I knew that like Todd, like that it was going to be like she's going to switch to Todd is because Vampire Diaries was going off in my head. And everybody was like, oh, it's super obvious that Todd's like in love with you. And I was like, honestly, like not.
No, it seems
it's really not. Like it's obvious, at least to me, because Todd has a lot of those Damon-esque qualities. It's more like Todd likes fucking shit up, maybe.
Yeah, but not just that, but like a lot of this little stuff we get from Todd is stuff that happens when it's just him and Kaylee alone. No one else is around to witness him doing a you shouldn't be with Nash, because he never said that around anyone else.
Yeah. So when people are like, oh, it was super obvious, it's like, well, no, like honestly, it wasn't super obvious.
Yeah.
You know, like, because Damon, just because, like, it's, like I said, it's like the most clear parallel to this. Like, with Damon, it's super obvious.
Yeah.
And, like, does it need to be that blatant? No. But, like, before this book,
she never thought of him like that.
Yeah. And
there was like one line where she insinuated she could, and that was it. And
and there needs to be like some clear build-up before this book. You know, maybe last book shouldn't have been completely like, I'm obsessed with Nash. Maybe it should have been like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
About, you know, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, we're here now, and she's holding hands with Todd, and this is where like the 180 starts to happen. And
I do still stand.
I do still like it. I just wish it was more. I just wish it was
better
more
set up.
satisfying. Yeah, because going into this book, I was like, I wonder how they're gonna do this. I wonder how she's gonna do it because like there was no setup for it,
Mm-hmm.
and
I mean,
there's
at
no
least you did make Todd do something major to trigger the actual.
Yeah.
Yeah,
thing.
like it's not bad. It's just really sudden,
Mm-hmm.
and given that like she had all the opportunity in the world to set it up properly,
Yeah.
it's like I don't understand why you didn't take it. But in any case, so
So they got to talk to Farah.
yeah, and then so then also there's like a whole because she's dying, so like she's like my dying wish, her dying wish from Nash was to not die a virgin, and then Todd's like,
Oh.
I never got
Is
a
that
dying
her-
wish or whatever, and so she's like, oh yo, you won or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And has Todd also like been like, so you really only want to like, do you want to sleep with
Yes,
Nash?
this
just like
conversation
Nash?
happened when we went to the hospital.
Yeah. Or do you want to sleep with Nash just so you can have slept with someone?
And she
It's like, don't
Yeah.
you make me confront the truth? How absolutely dare you? I'm dying.
Yeah.
She's like, wait, no, wait.
Yeah.
You're right, but fuck you.
And so then so we get to Farah, and Farah's like, you're not
Are
real.
you real or not real?
Yeah, it has like this whole real or not real thing that like it's really hard to follow. But in any case, she's very pregnant. Lydia's a siphon, so she's been siphoning Farah's pain.
Yep.
Which is the only reason why Farah's lasted this long.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're like, okay, we got what we need. We know that Farah's pregnant with a baby boy. And so then they're like, all right, let's go. And Lydia's like, don't leave me. And then Kaylee's like, I don't know. Okay, fine. And so then Todd is like, okay, Kaylee, let's go. And Kaylee's like, no, get Lydia out first. And Todd's like, and then Todd's like, okay, wait right here. And Kaylee's like, okay. And then she doesn't. So then we go see Scott, who is
Poor Scott.
Nash's old best friend, who was also on Frost.
And Sophie's boyfriend or former boyfriend now.
Yeah. So then Scott's like yelling at her. And we find out later that this is actually Avari like talking through Scott, like talking to Scott.
No, Avari is talking through Scott to Todd.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
Todd's like, I want to make a deal. Yeah.
And so Scott's like freaking out, but then Kaylee's just like, where is Todd? Oh my God. So then right as Kaylee's getting caught in the room,
Todd grabs her
and they yeet. And then, she gets back home. Nash has been on the doorstep for an hour.
Yep.
And she's like, oh no, I stood Nash up again. Oh no.
Oh, but I texted you guys about this. I got shitty with Kayla because she was like, where were you, Todd? Because like at this point, we didn't know that Todd was in there just being invisible doing a negotiating thingy. And she was like, where were you? And he's like, oh, dropping Lydia off was a bit more complicated than I thought. And she's just yelling at him for not rescuing her soon enough. And he's like, but nothing bad happened. And she's like, I don't give a fuck. Where the fuck were you? How absolutely dare you let me get into a situation that I put myself in where nothing bad happened.
Yeah, like,
and it made me mad. Like, you don't get to yell at him for your actions when there are no consequences.
Pat, she like half got busted. Like nothing happened.
Yeah, like an orderly was like, "Hey, you shouldn't be here," and she's like, "No, I shouldn't." And then she bleeped away.
Yeah.
That was
the real consequence, though, is that she was doing all this with Todd while she should have been on a date with Nash. In her last 4 days of life that Nash ever has with her, she stood him up like twice.
Yes,
I think this is like at least the second time that she's literally forgotten that she's supposed to be having a date with Nash right now,
and then like gone out with Todd instead. So like okay, whoops.
Yeah.
So
and then, I'm not gonna lie, I got freaking shitty with Todd in this scene too. I'm pretty sure it was this scene because they get home, like go back to Kaylee's house, and like Todd's still there, and Kaylee also wasn't like, hey, Todd, fuck off. I'm going to go see your brother now. Because we've got to fuck. And Nash is like, I need to talk to you, Kaylee. And Todd's just like, and he's like, privately, and Todd's just like, you have no right to just stand there defiantly, Todd.
Yeah.
Like, I did get annoyed. Like, also, it would be different if it wasn't his brother.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it was actually like a proper love rivalry type thing. Like, yeah, sure. Like, but it's your brother. You're supposed to love him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Kaylee brings out the worst in Todd.
Real quick,
This
though.
is Kaylee's fault.
Kat said, so why is she yelling at him?
Because she's Kaylee.
That's a very good question.
Because
Kat.
that's why I'm mad at her for yelling at him. Because he did the thing that she asked him to do and then rescued her. He's like, I rescued you. And she's like, you call that a rescue? I almost got caught. And yeah, almost.
Yeah, almost. And also, in psych wards,
did they haul you away and put you in a straitjacket, Kaylee? No.
Also, in psych wards, they check on you every 15 minutes. Like, this was inevitable. So anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so Nash is like, don't let Todd do this. He's in love with you. He's going to break us up. And she's like, what? He's not in love with me. Oh my God. And he's like, you can't hang out with Todd anymore. And she's like, you can hang out with Sabine, except she's like worse. And it's a very spicy argument.
Yes.
And then Nash is like, you don't need me. I need you to need me. Why don't you need me? And then Kaylee is like, I need you. And
he's like, bitch, where?
Also, because when Kaylee like starts arguing back about Sabine, like in my head, I'm thinking, no, it's different though. And I couldn't figure out why it was different until Nash told us why it was different. Because she was like, Sabine did it this, Sabine did it that. She's made it very clear she still wants to bone you. Blah, blah, blah. How is it different? And he's like, because Sabine is honest. She's told you from the get-go. You know
That's
what's
true.
what with Sabine.
There's no
like whereas Todd has been like, plotting for months on how to do a bang Kaylee. And you didn't know till tonight. So I think that is where the big difference is. Like Sabine's just like, look, I want to bang you, Nash. Hey, Kaylee, I want to bang your boyfriend. And they're both like, no.
yeah.
Whereas,
and like maybe that's why
I get it.
Set it up better. But as like setting up a love interest, it doesn't work quite as well. But in any case, one thing that
it's a very good argument. It's very fun.
Yeah, it is, because one thing that Nash does point out is like, he's like, you don't need me, and Kaylee's like, yes, I do, and Nash is like, you weren't the one that told me that you were gonna die, and Kaylee's like, that wasn't my fault, first of all, and then
which is true, it was not her fault.
And then he's like, you didn't need me tonight, and in fairness to Kaylee,
he couldn't do what she needed.
Yeah, like
Nash can't do a bleep.
His skill set, wasn't whatever. And then he's like, with the ink, with Mr. Beck, you didn't need me. And Kaylee's like, your skill set wasn't applicable. And because also like
Nash, I need you when I need to do the thing that we have vowed never to do, which is reinstate a soul. That's when I need you.
Yeah. Well, because the other thing too is like Kaylee's just the main character. Which is the only reason why she's in all these situations. Because, like...
she doesn't have the skills either.
Todd could have... Because when we think about it, Kaylee doesn't need to be here for any of this either. Because Todd could have done the entire prison thing by himself. And, Sabine could have been the main character. And done everything, all that by herself. Because
Nash a simp.
Because he's a drug addict, and he's
he was last book he was kind of simpy.
Yeah, he was.
Yep.
Last book he was pretty simpy. This one he has regrown a third of one of his testicles.
Yeah,
in this book.
But the thing is, like Kaylee, like Nash. Here's the thing: Kaylee's skill set isn't applicable here either.
No.
So,
but what makes this argument worse, though, is Thane rocks up halfway through.
Yes.
He's like, howdy do. and he's like, I'm gonna kill you, and Kaylee like is just getting like hardcore distracted by like Thane doing a woo woo woo, and Nash is like, what the fuck?
And Nash is like, Todd, get out of my head. And Kaylee's like, no, Todd's not here. And Nash is just so convinced that, like, Todd is around. And then Nash is like, you never tell me anything. And Kaylee's like, oh, fuck, because I can't tell him that. And Todd's the only one who knows about that. And like, everybody's like, hi if I tell Nash about that. And Kaylee's like, motherfucker. And it's like, oh.
I mean, that said, though, like, even though Nash's skill sets are not applicable, he also does still have a point. He's like, you literally keep forgetting about me. You are not involving me in even any of the discussing or planning of literally anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's like point blank, like, do you like Todd? And she's like, I don't know.
How is that relevant?
Yeah, instead of being like, of course I don't like Todd. Ew, gross. She's like, I don't know if I like Todd. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. And then she's like, why would I be with you if I liked him? And he's just like, that is not an answer. That is a deflection.
It wasn't an answer. None of it was an answer.
Well, that was.
Because I'm sorry, if my boyfriend came up to me and was like, do you like somebody else? It's a very easy answer to that question.
It's just fuck no.
It's no.
If your significant other says, do you like someone else, specifically or generally? If your answer is anything but no, then your answer is yes.
Yeah.
Unless it's a variation of the word no. It doesn't have to be strictly no. But then, so she's like, so we good? And Nash is like, I don't know. I guess we're good. And she's like, okay, I guess we're good. And Nash is like, so want to fuck? And she's like, hell no, I don't. I really
she's
don't.
like, no, Todd, you're right. I don't really want to boink him, actually. I don't really.
Yeah, so Nash is like, oh, and she's like, but I can't tell him I don't want to fuck him. So she's just like, oh, would if I could, but
I'm so tired.
Yeah, and so now Nash is like, hold on, we're good, but she no longer wants to boink.
Red flags, Todd.
Yeah,
he's like red flag, red flag, red flag. So in any case,
so then they're like, okay, so Netflix and chill, but like not a euphemism.
Yeah.
So okay, also this entire time, because we haven't even talked about Emma. Emma doesn't know that Kaylee's gonna die, first of all.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to tell Emma because she wants to protect her. I'm just thinking, stop trying to protect her. It's not your job to protect her.
Yeah,
and then ish woman.
And then also we have this really crazy plan to get Emma alone with Mr. Beck. And
no, the plan was never to get Emma. It was Sabine. Get Sabine alone with him.
But then Emma's like, I already did the legwork, and
because she is like under his spell.
Yeah. So, and at this point, I know we talked about like, why are you at school? But at this point, she's going to school because she's like all bent on doing something productive with her final days. So she wants to take out Mr. Beck,
but also make sure Emma doesn't get murdered.
And make sure that Emma doesn't get murdered before she dies. So,
so now it's Daddy's like, do you want to do an alien marathon? And we got to like get a whole big like 4 paragraphs about how Dad's so stupid he doesn't know how to use a DVR.
Here's the thing. And it's just speaking from personal experience, I had to teach my parents how to like boot up Hulu and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But given that pause and unpause haven't changed much.
Yeah.
On that end, they're good.
like once you're logged in, it's pretty. I imagine it's a similar sort of thing to Netflix or whatever, or Prime Video, where like you go on and you press the arrows to pick the thing, and then you press play.
Yeah, like because we like switched from cable to like all smart TV stuff. Because
it takes a minute.
Yeah, because like, now it's Netflix, Disney Plus, and Hulu and all that kind of stuff, and also like Prime Video, just because everybody has Amazon Prime. you know, I had to teach them how to like navigate through like different apps and everything. And sometimes they'll get a little confused between like the different interfaces because all the apps work a little bit differently. But it's mostly just like once that was good, like they never had an issue with like, how do I pause?
How do I press pause?
And it's like the pause button, it has not changed since like VCRs. That's not the issue.
Yeah, and I don't even know if DVRs were a thing. Yeah, they probably were. We just didn't have one. But we do have like on Foxtel you can record.
Yeah.
So don't have Foxtel either. But the button to press, like I'm pretty sure the button to record on Foxtel is like the little round thing with the little round circle and you go poof.
Yeah.
And there's an R in it most of the time.
Yeah. Well, like DVRs.
And that's the same button.
DVRs, like separate DVRs were like they were kind of popular, but they weren't that popular. And then they started like
They were
including
super expensive.
They were super expensive and it was like TiVo and stuff like that. But then they started including them with cable packages.
TiVo! Oh my god!
Yeah. And they started including it with like cable packages where it just came with DVR where you could like rewind stuff like just without TiVo or whatever. And now it's now we can just kind of take it for granted like that you can pause cable TV.
Yeah, like you can pause and rewind like Foxtel and stuff like that. And
yeah, or that you can like record shows super easily like without any issue or whatever. Like that's just been like a function of cable TV, but also now with like Hulu you can record shows like save whatever.
But it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
For the most part, like some people might need a 2-minute tutorial on how to do a thing. I don't know why we needed 4 paragraphs on why Daddy's so stupid at the DVR when she's been trying to teach him for months. It doesn't take 6 months to teach someone how to hit record.
It doesn't. So anyway, so now Emma's alone with Mr. Beck, getting like tutored or whatever, and so
yes, Mara. You okay?
Kaylee's such a good friend. She's such a good friend in this scene, don't you think?
no.
Like, I wish my best friend was Kaylee, and I wish that Kaylee had my back. Never, ever, ever would my life and wound be at risk as long as Kaylee Kavanagh is my best friend.
Yeah, if you guys ever let me get like half raped by a math teacher,
just because I wanted to eavesdrop on a conversation and then make out with my boyfriend's brother.
Yeah, no, I really love how like I love that she's like, my best friend's life is at risk. Ooh, shiny.
I got time.
Like, can you fucking imagine?
But she acts like such a freaking like dead mother in regards to Emma, but every other minute of every other scene that she's in with Emma until like it's actually important.
I mean, in fairness, like Emma doesn't die, but like that's about it.
Yeah.
She gets she gets felt up a little bit though.
And she's under the pheromone.
Kaylee, you had one job. And also Kaylee fucked up so bad that like her backup fucked off and got high. Cause like that's what Sabine, so like just before we even get into this, Nash and Sabine were meeting her there.
Yep.
We could do battle with the incubus. And then he relapsed because of how dumb Kaylee is. So like I just want to point out that like we had a whole plan.
Yeah, be craftier, Kaylee. Be craftier. We're gonna cheat on your boyfriend.
Oh my god. Like now is not.
Oh, I also like as well, like, because she ends up. I don't know if it's happened yet or not. No, it doesn't. It hasn't happened yet. Never mind. We'll discuss it when it happens.
Okay. So in any case, so what conversation does she overhear?
With Avari and Todd.
Okay, right. So
So like, have a shiny.
So Kaylee's supposed to be like in the room, but the door's already closed. So now she has to get into the classroom. So she and goes into the nether. That's how she gets in.
No, it's kind of like I think it's like a puppy getting kicked, but like out of her.
I
better?
thought it was like a blood curdling scream.
That's what I thought.
No, because she just lets out the tiniest little whine.
Oh, to get into the nether, yeah.
It would actually be funny if like she had to like, okay, 1, 2, 3. Like, and she just had to do it. And it had to be like super loud. I really wish that like they made it where it was like you know you have to scream. And then like boop.
And one thing I need to like, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure like from next book she has 2 choices on getting to the nether. Like one of them she's never going to use again, but she can either like bloop over to the nether or like herself over there. So she's got 2 travel methods now.
Yay.
So
Just fun fact.
so now she's like, okay, now I can like do over, but then oh no, it's the thorny stuff.
Oh, and she's a freaking moron, right? Because she's like, you know, before she knows it's gonna be there, right? So instead of going, I'm gonna like in our world, I'm gonna walk over to the lab to get the shit that I need to get, and then do it, you know. She's like, no, I'm gonna, and then like find my way through Crimson Creeper, get to the lab, and then like have to walk back 20 minutes to do a thing. Oh, and then shiny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so she gets there and she goes, oh no, and so now she's like, okay, I have to sneak and hopefully not die because like you can die over here on not your death day. So she's like do, and then she hears like,
Yeah, she's like, she hears a Vara being like, this is not what we agreed, but you know, I am open to think. Well, I don't care about our previous deal because, well, I just like Todd.
and she's like,
And
she's like,
and
my
she
boner?
literally, she literally sits there and goes, Emma could be getting raped right now, but probably not. But maybe, but probably not.
And she's like, how long does it take to rape
Eavesdrop.
somebody anyway? It probably takes longer than this, so it's fine. She's like, hopefully he'll take his time raping her, so it's all good. Fortunately for her, he was taking his time raping her.
Yes.
By not starting yet.
Also, in case anybody ever hears that out of context, what I'm saying is that Kaylee is a bad person for letting her friend get potentially raped. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Kaylee's a bad person. Don't let your friends get raped, kids. Especially when it was expressly your job. You had one job.
Make sure Emma doesn't get raped.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's bad enough when your friend's in their right mind and they have their rape whistle ready to go and they're willing to blow it when need be.
But
No,
you knew she was about to get drugged.
Yeah, you knew she was about to be like, fuck me, Mr. Back. Yeah. She's a bad friend, but no, she decided to go eavesdrop. And what she eavesdrops on, and partly witnesses, is Todd being like, I have a thing for you.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, you know, this changes nothing, right? She's still gonna die. And he's like, yeah, no, I just don't want his face to be the last thing she fucking sees.
And I also just want her to, you know, not live in fear.
Tormented anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Kaylee's like, oh, how romantic. Which is like, yeah, it's sweet, but I don't care, Kaylee. Fuck you.
Yeah.
No, I don't like her. She's not allowed to feel touched by anything, okay? It's rude.
Yeah. So then
And Todd sees her.
Todd sees her, and then Todd immediately grabs her, and
they go back to the real world.
And then they go back to the real world, and he's like, "The fuck, Kaylee?" And like,
and she's like, "You did that for me?" He's like, "Yeah, I did."
And he's like, "Yeah, you did. I done that for you."
And then she's like, "Well, I have no choice but to make out with him in the school hallway, where people know me and people can see us."
And then so it would have been so funny if like he had been only corporeal for her and she just
she's just like to the air.
I honestly wish that had been what was going on. He's corporeal for only her and she's like,
I did not even
And so like they can see her tongue going down something, but like not
They're like, what is
nothing
Kaylee
that makes
doing?
sense. Which I would then I would be like, give me movies so that you can show me the visual of like you know, I need to know what that would look like.
Awkward.
But
Yeah,
then,
it would have been amazing though.
but then
like,
as she's,
you know,
Honestly,
making out the pot,
if I had been writing it, that's what I would have had happen. Just because it's too funny. Like,
So it's just like it starts off as just like you know, the kiss, and then they pull back, and he's like, "Did you mean it?" She goes, "I think I did mean it." Did you mean it? And he's like, "I think I did mean it." And then like the proper makeout.
then they start kissing again. And then who walks in?
And then we just
Not that they agreed to meet at.
Kaylee.
right?
And,
Because remember, like I said, Nash and Sabine were going to be here as backup because you know, in the other room.
Well, they were meant to be waiting outside, right? And then Nash had been trying to get in contact with her, and she just wasn't answering because she was in the middle.
Right.
So it's like, shit's gone wrong. We need to get inside.
Right. So backup is here because again, Emma's about to get raped.
Yeah, and bless him though, because like his phone's in her hand, and I'm pretty sure he said like, I just texted you, and then like the little bleep comes up on her phone, and I'm just like,
I was wondering where you were, but I guess I know now.
Yeah, I was like, ooh.
And he just straight up goes like, me or him, and she just says, "I'm sorry, Nash," which means she chose Todd. And it's spicy.
It's very spicy because, like, at this point, like, she has no moment of like hesitation. She's just like, I like this better, and
like, this feels.
So she goes
good.
from like that point where she was like Nash, be all end all, to like, fuck Nash.
Wait. Sorry. The post initial kiss, pre makeout kiss conversation was like Todd, like all churny eyes, because they go churny eyes. It's like, did you mean it? Was that real? And was that real, or were you just granting me my last wish?
Oh yeah, that's.
And she was like, "That was your last wish, a kiss." And he's like, "A kiss from you."
Yeah, I
wanted you to
know.
see
There's
me.
no way that could have been.
I wanted you to
You
see
didn't
me.
know her when you died, but that's whatever.
Yeah, like this was the okay. You need to at least have a basic idea of what we experienced. I could have kissed you months ago, but it wouldn't have meant anything. I wish for you to see me and want me. So did you? So, did you mean it?
Yes, Todd, I see you.
And then, there was like this. I think it's like in his next, like, because he does another big declaration speech. So it's just the way that she, like the narrator, as he pronounces one word that I spat. I can't even remember what it was. I'm pretty sure it started with a Q-U. Like it was like quench or something, or quaint. I don't know what the word was. I'm pretty sure it was a Q-U.
But
searching for Q-U. But yeah.
We get Emma out of there. We save Emma from potentially getting rape-a-doodled.
Oh yeah, because then it's like, because she's also like, Sabine, help, and Sabine's like, you're on your fucking own, bitch.
Yeah,
she's like, fuck, Emma.
My time to shine, bitch. She's like, thank you.
She's like, this is gonna make getting back in bed with Nash so much easier. Like, mwah.
She's like, I have never loved you more. So I'm gonna go tap that now, or I'm gonna go try. So yeah. Then we get Emma out, and Emma's just like, okay.
But Kaylee walks in and she's like, Emma, why didn't you just tell me that you were gonna do a thing with Mr. Beck?
Yeah.
I would have joined you. We do everything together. And she's like fuck me, Mr. Beck.
Yeah, she's being flirty.
And Emma's just like, what the fuck? I guess if I have to like half bang Kaylee too, I'll fucking do it. That's what Emma's
suppose.
So then they're like, tomorrow night, Emma's house, 8:00. And he's like, okay. And this is like Kaylee's like last confirmed tonight. Because tomorrow night is Wednesday.
Yeah.
But then Emma's like, yo, dude, what the fuck? What is that? You got detention? Like, what is going on with you? And she's just like, well, I made out with Todd and I'm dying.
Yep.
And she's just like, those are two very different things. You're telling me, well, I almost got raped. You made out with Todd and found out you're dying? And she was like, well, no,
yeah.
actually,
And Emma was like, how dare you? Like, you should have told me. And so they decided to just have some girly time stuff, right?
yeah,
And then,
like, so, you know, like, if like, what would you want to do if Nash was not in the picture at all? And she's like, but he is. But Emma's like, no, fuck Nash. What do you want? And she said, I want to make out with Todd. So.
yes.
Gotta make out with Todd. Oh, and also when she gets home, she's like, hello, father. How was your day?
That's what I was going to say before.
And he's like, oh, it was good. How was your day? And she's like, well, let me fucking tell you, Dad.
Like, well, you know, I broke up with Nash, made up with Todd, and propositioned my math teachers with a 3-way.
Yeah.
And he's like,
and she's like, so anyway, aliens? And he's like, what the fuck? He's like, back up.
And she's like, oh, it's okay.
That was so
like,
fun.
And she's like, it's okay, Dad. It's not like I legit propositioned him, but he's an incubus and he wants to impregnate Emma. And he's like, wait, we excuse you, what?
Yeah.
And guess what? Dad, we have a new thing though. Dad, she tells
he
Dad
does actually do something useful in this.
and he says he's gonna do something, and he does it.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
It's great.
he does it.
He doesn't. I was like, no, he actually does something.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna talk to Uncle Brandon because he knew an incubus once, and then they go and find the incubus, and they learn the stuff that's vital to know.
Mm-hmm.
It's character development, guys. We have character development in this book.
The parent actually did
speaking to adults mattered.
Yeah. But then like Todd shows up and is like, hi, I need to speak with you, madam. And so she's like, oh fuck, he's gonna choose Todd. Of course he is. It's his brother, all this stuff. And he's like, no, I just explained to you that I also would like to make out with you again. He's like, I'll fix this with Nash, but you know, I only have 48 hours left with you alive. So even though they don't fuck, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it's a thing. And so they're like, okay, well, like, you know, we've got like at worst a day and a half to do a thing. So let's do a thingy thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I need to build all of the memories and this and that. And it's like, oh, okay. Bit more of this. Then I met you. And at first I didn't understand what happened, what had changed. All I knew is that I wanted to be near you. Then you helped me with Addison, even though it nearly got you killed. I nearly got you killed. And then I started to understand how special you are. But by then, you're getting serious with Nash, with my brother.
Do you see the pain in my eyes?
Yeah, you see the pain in my. Okay, real quick though, like in every book, like whenever there's like just confessionals like this, I cannot with it. Like
the funny thing is that, like, I will say,
people don't talk
for all the
like
narrator's
this.
flaws, like, because she does have a very annoying, just normal voice, right?
Yes.
And then her God voice is atrocious. Some of her other voices are really good though. But the way she emotes them and actually acts out the dialogue is really well done, generally.
Yeah.
But, like, there's this one bit. It's like, I tried to stay away. I tried so hard. His voice cracked on the last word. And it's like, no, it didn't, because his voice is nothing but cracking. She couldn't make his voice crack. I can't, like... And I've kind of developed my vocal fries back now. So I'm just gonna hold my voice box for a while and keep it under control.
Also, like, I mean, sometimes Addie's not here, but we're all streaming.
Yeah.
But in any case, yeah, like
The big fuck up's next.
yeah, but like real quick, just like the massive like diatribe, especially from guys, in books like this, it's just like it's gross.
Yeah, but we did it in Blackwoods.
They have to happen.
I know.
They're so good.
Except when they're read like this.
Yeah, but we have Kieran, so therefore, like, it's gonna be.
Okay. This isn't writing advice, I guess this is publishing audiobook advice from Book Club with Bay. If you're going to have a love interest, do not allow the narrator to make this his voice.
Yeah, because I've listened to several books where the love interest voice, so like it ruins the book. Like there's one where the love interest has a British accent, right? And there are other characters in the book with British accents, and they sound fine. But the love interest, he sounds like this, and it's like, why is this his voice? Like, what the fuck is this? And he's
So
like,
he's the
hello,
opposite.
love, kitten.
Wait, is it kitten?
It's a different kitten.
Oh
It's
no!
not kitten, but it's kitten, and it's like, what the fuck?
And I know, like I will say, like, even if your love interest is like working class London person, do not make him sound like the Artful Dodger.
Yeah, make them sound hot. The NPCs are the ones that have the dumb voices.
Like you can find a way to have a working, like I've worked with a guy who was working class London, and it wasn't upper crust London, but it wasn't Artful Dodger London. It was a nice middle ground.
Yeah.
Like you felt like you could have a conversation with him without having to do like a bow. But you also didn't feel like he was about to pickpocket you.
I mean,
like,
9 times out of 10 though, like some of the worst voices, even with like really good narrators, is almost always like whenever they go into like a southern accent.
oh yeah.
Which this book is guilty of that too.
I don't think I minded Thane's accent too much though in this book. I don't think I minded it too much.
I did, but like it.
Oh, look, a part of it was like because it was more drawly than southern, and I don't know if it was supposed to be drawly or southern or what it was, but it wasn't too bad, and especially because he was like, I kind of just pictured him as like a really flamboyant caricature of an evil guy.
Well,
So
I
it
just,
was
as somebody who listens to real ones all day long,
yeah, well, I also don't do that.
You know, it's just really grating to listen to it, just because it's like, you know, it's
You
just
have to admit though, his was better than Addison's.
Yeah, it's just like
Addison's was atrocious.
Well, because he's like a villain, and whenever you have like, so you can have like southern accents and villains and stuff, but in my head it should sound something like, I don't know, kind of like an old west cowboy sort of drawl kind of thing, where like it can absolutely sound good, but usually it just winds up sounding super kooky, like a fucked up southern belle on like heroin. And it's really annoying to listen to. In any case, so now we're getting
the big fuck up. I'm so excited about this.
So Nash is like at school the next day because we're still going to school. Nash is like, "Hey, can we talk?" And she's like, "Oh no." And so Nash is like, "So look, I know that you're dying, and so like, you know, lapse in judgment, and you hate Todd, so it's fine. So we're just gonna boink now."
Yeah, like if you can look me in the eye and tell me that you did not mean it, let's go. Like, yeah. I all is forgiven. I won't, like, we only have this one day together, Kaylee. We need to spend it together. And she's like, I don't know how to tell you this, but Todd and I made out again last night, as well as kind of fooled around. So, I don't like you. And then he gets angry and belligerent because he is on demon meth again.
Yeah, because like she touches him and he's really cold to the touch, and she's like, "Oh no, you relapsed." And then like Sabine catches up to them, and she's like, "Oh God." And so we're trying to get Nash to stop gnashing.
But Nash is like influencing her to get in her car to make her leave, and Sabine is like, "No, this is not a good idea."
Doesn't want you.
Yeah, she doesn't want you. Stop influencing her to try to get in her car so you can take her God knows fucking where and do God knows what.
Yep, and he tries to influence Sabine, but he can only influence Sabine if she lets him.
Yeah,
because she can scare him into his influence going otherwise. So she did that, and she's like, "I'm pissed now." Like, and at first, I think as well, like at first, Sabine was more like, get over Kaylee. This is getting ridiculous now.
Mhm.
And then I think Sabine actually starts getting like, "The fuck are you gonna do to it, Nash? What are you doing?"
Yeah.
It does get very, very spooky.
Yeah, because I also understand to an extent, like, what he's doing is not okay.
No.
Not okay. But like he also says, I cannot remember the way I felt with any of my memories with her.
Yeah.
That it's all gone, and I just need to have something to feel and remember her by when she's dead. Like I understand him.
Yeah,
grieving
but
the
his
loss of-
methods are really fucked.
Well, also,
He's really fucked up.
I mean, like when you consider the state that he's in, his really fucked up reasoning makes
sense to him.
Makes drug sense.
yeah.
But then, so like eventually, Sabine literally just punches Nash in the gut and is like, "Stop this." And then Kaylee can escape because the influence is gone.
Yeah. But then I also like how Kaylee's just like, "Thank you" to Sabine, and Sabine like, "Just fuck off."
Yeah,
like Sabine
killed him enough. Can you just
Sabine,
go?
Yeah, because Sabine saves her, but Sabine's like, "I didn't fucking save you for you."
So saved you so I could get him home. So then Kaylee calls Harmony and is like, "Hi, listen, Nash relapsed.
Because
Go take care of him."
By the way, also, yeah, I fucked him over epically.
Yeah, also I made out with your other dead son. So yeah. And she's like, "Oh God, okay. We'll unpack all of that later. I'm gonna go take care of my kid."
Yeah. And then she was also like, "Please don't hate me, Harmony." And Harmony's like, "You're gonna die tomorrow. Like, I'm not gonna tell you I hate you right now, okay?"
Like it's
Harmony's a sweetheart.
So then we go to hang out with Todd and we get our recap from Reaper.
Yeah.
And
Which it's nice that like, you don't really have to read Reaper to understand like what's going on. But
and then
then we just get like montage of them together and they're cute and I hate it.
But Todd does actually explain to Kaylee that he died in Nash's place and Nash doesn't know this.
Yeah.
Yeah, also she's like, "I haven't told anyone this since."
He's like, "I literally haven't told anyone this since I told my mom."
Kelly's like, "Oh, at first with Todd," and I'm like, "Well, it's actually not his first. He has told his mother."
Yeah,
it's like if I said, just say I was meeting you for the first time, Addie. I'm like, "I haven't told anyone this since the last person I told." But I like ice cream. That's not a first with us. That's not a first with us. It's just the first time I told you something that I've told people.
But then we get a call from Dad saying, "Hi, we're not going to be home for dinner tonight. We are in Louisiana because we're getting tea about incubus, and incubi babies are not born with souls, so they need another supernatural being to put the soul in the baby."
Yeah, because a human soul will not sustain them.
Yeah, which is why human mothers die. So they find that out, and
Well, because what
So
they found
then-
was like basically like a half banshee incubus baby.
Mhm.
Yeah, so the baby of the incubus that they saw, the mother of the little boy incubus was a banshee. So when he was born, he absorbed her soul and she and when a normal, like when a human gives birth, the baby absorbs the mother's soul still, but it can't actually sustain it for longer than
A few minutes,
approximately
yeah.
15 minutes. And then Kaylee's like, oh, I guess it wasn't a coincidence that Lydia was the roommate, because
yeah.
he was gonna give his baby Lydia's soul. So good thing they broke Lydia out.
Then we have the beginnings of a cute night because we're gonna keep Emma at our house because what's his nuts was gonna come over Beck, and so
Yeah, call all the family, like Emma's fam bam, to be like, go out, have fun, do a
Yep.
thing.
So they're having a cute little girls' night with Todd. Sophie's there, like it's
Oh yeah,
last night.
Sophie's not happy though.
No, Sophie's not happy about it, but she's there.
And
she doesn't know
Kaylee's
what's
being a
happening,
bitch
though.
about it too.
Yeah.
She's like, I can't believe you made my cousin come over. And it's like,
You're gonna die, bro. Calm down.
Yeah.
it's like you're gonna die. Your dad and your uncle wanted you and your cousin to at least speak to each
have
other.
one last
before
night
you.
together.
Yeah. And it's like, I mean, you know, you and
You
your
guys were
cousin,
effectively sisters.
yeah, we're
for sure.
effectively sisters for a long time. And like, I know you don't get along, but you know, look, if they ever tell your cousin about what happened, she would probably regret it if she didn't at least see you once before you croaked.
Yeah. So
So
then Mr. Beck shows up.
Well, Todd has to go do a thing. I can't remember what Todd has to do.
Nash gets really like fucked up.
So he
yeah,
has
and
to go.
Sabine calls.
And Sabine calls and is like, you know, Harmony and I can't hold the fort over here. Please come help us.
Oh no, Harmony's at work, so he has to go and collect Harmony.
Yeah,
and take
he has to go help.
Yeah. And Emma and Sophie are asleep, and then Kaylee gets a text from Emma's sister Tracy.
Yeah.
She's like, bad breakup, ice cream pools, where are you? And she's like, sleepover at my house, and she's like, address, and she's like, oh, it's a thing. And then she's like, oh fuck.
Yeah. She's like,
Tracy
oh, that
knows
was
where I
fucking
live.
stupid.
I immediately knew. I was like, yep, here we go. Dead time.
Yep, so it's Mr. Beck. He's like, howdy do. Kaylee Kavanaugh. I couldn't stand his voice. Could not stand his voice, especially like once he got actually like evil.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm mad. I'm so mad, Kaylee, because do you know what I just did? Do you know? I would have had a viable baby 7 months along. Fine. But someone took my fucking sofa, and I think it was you.
Yep.
And now I'm mad, and I'm going to do a killy kill.
But if we don't frame Nash for this, I'm going to rape a doodle Sophie and Emma.
The way he described it, it's like they're going to die screaming in both pleasure and pain. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
he was really gross, but he's going to rape them to death, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
So
she chooses to frame Nash because that's
he
fair.
also mentions as well that he's already done a fuckadoodle with Tracy, and then he says later on that he actually knocked her up.
Yeah.
So Tracy's pregnant with Demon Spawn.
Yep.
With potential Demon Spawn.
What in the God's name are you talking about? We're talking about a book.
This is book club.
It's fine. This is book club. It's fine.
And then Kaylee's like, ha ha ha, joke's on you. You can't use my soul because I'm gonna die. Like it's already Thursday.
It's Thursday.
I'm due to die anytime in the next 23 hours and 55 minutes. You can't really save my soul. And he's like, well, more ha ha, joke's on you.
I have this knife.
I got the demon knife, and it'll babysit your soul. So fuck you. She's like,
So
well,
yeah. So she frames Nash by emailing him saying,
Yeah.
"Don't come over, Nash. Don't do it. When?"
you
Honestly,
scare me when you're like this.
honestly, I
When you're
thought it
like
was
this.
so funny. I was like, email him?
Yeah, same.
I was like, email?
That should have been your first
I
trigger.
will say that.
Like-
Wait, when was this? No, because by the time this was after I was out of high school, and by then, that was
I was
email.
like, maybe
was not-
like I was like, maybe like Facebook message or like
Yeah.
But potential. Well, considering as well when this first came, like even MySpace message, because when this was set, MySpace, it was like halfway between during the transition of MySpace and Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I think MSN Messenger still existed. MSN Messenger was still frequently used. She could have IM'd him.
Yeah.
What?
So
Because this was
they
also
do
pre
But
smartphone.
especially like when it's not like a thread of emails, and it's just like new email. Yeah. No,
please
no.
don't come over.
Nash, no, please, no, do not. Like,
Yeah,
what?
like, no.
What is she responding to?
But also,
Stupid.
like, there's no record of any phone calls between them. Unless Sabine called her Kaylee's phone from Nash's home phone. I don't know, but that was hours ago.
Yeah, like
I don't
Anyway.
I don't-
Also,
Like,
Nash has an alibi.
Yeah,
He
but
was
it's an
with Sabine.
untrustworthy. Yeah, but she's a felon.
She has a misdemeanor. She's not felon. Whatever.
Sorry. She's an ex-convict. My
Yeah.
bad.
Whatever. So they kill each other.
Yeah, he's like, have a stab, and she's like, no, you have a stab.
I
Ooh.
honestly, the mechanics of her turning the knife around, I'm still fuzzy on.
Yep. Me too.
I think it was in her side or something, like it was in her abdomen in some direction. And then I think he was starting to, like, I think he had relaxed and it was just like, just letting it sit there. Because apparently he's not very good at villainy, okay? He just let the knife sit there and she's like, fuck you. And then she, like, also, she used a cursey word and I actually am proud of
Yes,
her.
she did.
Yeah, I'm proud of her.
And then she like rips the thing out of his side and goes, and he was like, oh, my plans, and then he dies. It would have been funny if those were actually Boris' last words.
Oh, my plans.
My plans. But
And then
It
she
also would have
manages
been
to
funny
call-
though if like they had just got in the spoof version, they just get stuck in this loop of like with like their last dying breath, they keep like re-stabbing each other, and it's just like no you, no you, no you, no you.
It's just a race of who's gonna die with it in them, so the
Yeah,
soul
it's
gets
like-
trapped.
No. Like
oh, and Kaylee had to be the sacrifice because she was a virgin, and the baby soul has to be pure.
I'm
We forgot
guessing
to say that.
if it's obviously not
also,
the mother's.
what was
soul.
really funny though was he was like, it's really hard to find virgins around here. And I was just thinking, like, first of all, the average age of like first time sexing has been going up, not down.
Yeah.
Because, like, first of all, we're getting married older.
Yeah.
But also, like, you know, the first time that people have sex, it was averaging like younger. And now it's averaging a little, like a year or two older. It's actually much.
What is it, like 18 or 19 now?
It's like 17, 18
Oh.
now.
Wait, I'm looking specifically in Texas, okay?
Hey.
No, sorry, I lied. This is just the United States. Okay. So it is currently 18 for boys and 17 for girls, and that has been rising in recent years.
Yeah.
So it's easier to find high school virgins now.
Yes. Very. Most of them will be virgins, actually.
Unless supernatural beings are particularly promiscuous.
I suppose.
So- So I know
So-
everybody's very worried about like, ooh, like so much sex in media, but the average age of like the first times going up, not down.
Yep.
So there's that.
But yeah, so she manages to call Todd. He's number 4 on her speed dial. I don't know Is Nash still above Todd on her speed dial?
Probably.
I kind of miss speed dial, man. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, same.
It was just really
Well,
easy.
We
have
have
our
favorites now. Yeah, we have favorites.
Yeah, it's close
I
enough.
guess. Yeah.
So and Todd.
Wait. I think you can speed dial.
Oh, that'd be dope.
Still, just hold it down. Like if you hold down number 1, it, like on my phone at least, it goes to voicemail. I think you can set other numbers to do that.
Might
Like to do, I
look
think.
into that. Anyway.
No.
Oh,
For some reason we brought Kaylee to the hospital. I don't know why. We knew she was gonna die.
We lost me. I'm back.
The audio issues. And Dad punches a nurse. Don't know why, but because why did he punch the nurse?
Oh, that's because they're like, calm down, sir. And then he punched the nurse, and what their response was is not actually the response in reality. The response in reality is he gets his ass hauled out of there. There's his, sir, you can stay as long as you do it chill.
Yeah.
He might have been influencing. It's the only explanation I have.
He didn't have a chance to. He didn't talk.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. But, like, they take abuse of hospital staff like that very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Do not punch nurses.
You will get kicked out if you're verbally abusive, let alone punching.
Although, look, IRL, do not punch nurses, but
really don't.
Am I going to sit here and judge a father who is watching their kid die? No. But I will say, if you're sitting here in your right mind with your kid not dying in front of you, do attempt not to punch a nurse.
Yes.
Yeah, I will say though, I think his punch was a bit premature.
Yes. Yeah.
It was a very premature punch.
Yeah.
But by bringing Kayla to the hospital, Todd has become her Reaper. He refuses, and Levi
goes and Todd goes and Kayla's like, no, but then she's dead.
And then she dies.
Yeah.
And then
but Levi's cute though. He's like, I'm really sorry to have to do this, Kaylee. And then he kills her.
Yeah, he kills her, and then she wakes up like a few hours later, and they're like, all right, so we basically want you to be like a death cop.
Yeah. Your job would be to like find the souls that MIA.
Yeah. Find MIA souls.
You're a soul auditor.
And she's like, okay, so here's what I want in return. I want to still be a person. I want you to make it so my death didn't actually happen. It was falsely advertised.
Oh yeah, because she's like, what happened to everyone? They're like, well, Nash is in jail.
Yeah. Everyone's distraught. And I guess off screen she asked for Todd to come back.
Yeah, I think where is it?
Because it's never stated.
It's never stated, but then she says later that she did ask Levi to bring her back.
It ends with, I took a deep breath and then let it out slowly. There's one more thing. Triple stars.
Okay.
I
just missed it.
And then, so they're gonna make it so her death never happened publicly. Therefore, Nash is cleared of all charges. And yeah, so she agrees to be a death cop. Goes home. Everyone's in the living room, and they're like, "Oh, no!"
You're muted,
McGee.
They're at Nash's house.
They're at Nash's house. So they're at Nash's house. And they're like, "Oh my God, you're alive! I'm a death cop! Woo!"
Well, yeah, because at first Harmony's like, "Oh no," and she's like, "I'm not a Reaper.
We're good, man."
And she's like, "I'm good. I didn't sign on with Reapers." And everybody's like, "Whoa, okay, cool." Ah.
She's like, "I'm just a death cop."
You know, and Todd's like, "Well, that's fucking offensive." First,
and then it's like, where's like, so what's going on? They're like, well, your Uncle Brandon decided to fill Sophie in on fucking everything because she traumatizes all hell.
Yeah.
She woke up and found a dead Mr. Beck on your bed. And
then Nash gets home and is very mad at her for framing her for murder, which I get that. But also, why doesn't she just say, well, he threatened to...
The first thing out of her mouth is, I'm so sorry.
No, the first thing out of my mouth would be, well, he threatened to rape my cousin and my best friend and kill them. So no.
Threatened to
Yeah.
rape them to death, and yeah, like it would have been. He threatened to rape them to death. I'm really sorry. I was in a really tight bind, and I figured at least the murder charge is something that could be fought. Okay, but you can't.
Yeah, you can fight that because you have
Yeah, the first thing out of my
freaking
mouth would be he had a soul-sucking knife, like pressed against my ribs. He said he was gonna rape and murder Emma and Sophie, and I figured enough people liked you enough that they would figure out how to get you off of murder
Yeah.
charges. I'm really fucking
But she doesn't
sorry.
fucking say that because
But she doesn't say that. She just goes, sorry.
I will say though as well. Next book he hasn't figured it out, which
Doesn't?
you know you kind of can't like. I think like to an extent like he logically understands, but he's still all of the betrayed, which is fair. I think it's the same as I don't know because I'm much more easier on him than I am like on her. Like you know like well she logically understands that Nash didn't know that Ibari was in her body when they did a second base thing. She still feels betrayed by it. That's different though. I'm look at she framed him for murder, and even though she had it was the better of two shitty choices. It was still a choice.
Well, my thing is more like, even if he doesn't forgive her, for the benefit of everybody in the room, spit out what happened.
Oh, because
nobody else knows why either.
Yeah, because then wait, where is it? Because there was something as well.
Harmony doesn't know why. Emma doesn't know why.
That's
Dad
right. No,
doesn't know why.
She goes, "I'm so sorry, Nash," I said again, because I had to try. Beck made me. He had a knife and he was going to, but I couldn't finish that thought. I didn't want Emma to know what Beck had threatened to do to her and Sophie, ever. So she goes, and I'm so sorry. Like honestly, it's no, especially with him being dead and the attempt never having been made. I don't think Emma would have been too long-term traumatized by saying he said he was going to make her fucking to death.
And here's the thing: if one of you framed anybody for murder, I would rather know why.
Yeah.
Like I said, just even if Nash doesn't forgive her, which like whatever, just for the benefit of Harmony, for the benefit of everybody in the room.
Yeah, fucking explain why you framed their kid for murder. But then, like, Harmony's like, "Oh, where's Todd? I haven't seen him." And so she's like, "Oh, fuck." And then he's just like, "I'm back."
Yeah.
She's like, "I tried, but Levi told me it wasn't possible." And then we just hear, "And if you'd waited another hour, it would have been true." And I'm like, "God damn it, that voice."
But it was. I was like,
yeah. And then it's like Levi says, I'm not doing the voice again. He's like, Levi says surprise. And she's like, "Oh my God." And he's like, "Oh my God." And they're like, we both get to be dead, but animated together.
And then they make out in front of everyone, including Nash.
And then final. No, because Nash has already stormed off to his room.
Oh, Nash has already stormed off. God damn it.
Yeah. And then finally, her heart began to beat because her heart hadn't started beating again yet.
Oh, yeah, because she's dead. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting though.
She makes out with Todd at the end.
This is pretty cool though. It's not showing, but in this volume where there is like multiple books, we have the Netherworld Survival Guide, Common Hazardous Plants, Razorweed, Crimson Creeper, and what to do. Common Dangerous Creatures, Hellions, Harpies, Escape and Evasion, and then we go to Nether Sleep. But it's got some like How to Not Die in the Netherworld guide, and I'm like, well, that's kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah.
I like when little things like that get added.
So
it's cute.
So that's this book. The next thing we're gonna do is
Kaylee's dead.
So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get back to Morganville, and we're probably gonna do that after Christmas, and yeah, so we'll see about doing that. We might do that before I move, and then.
What date are you moving?
The 28th.
Me mum's birthday.
What day is that?
A Monday.
It's a Monday.
It's actually this coming Monday. Oh God. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
Oh, right. I'll
we'll
see you
chat.
today,
We'll
TJ.
it hasn't actually sunk in yet that I'm moving because like we were like my boyfriend was here and we were out to dinner with my parents and we were like discussing New Year's because he was working on New Year's.
Oh.
And I was like, and you know, I was like, yeah, you know, I can just like spend like the day with my parents because you know you're gonna be working. And so I was like, yeah. And so like, yeah, I'll just be home with my parents, like at home. And he was like, yeah, at home. And I was like, yeah, at home. And he was like, at home. And I was like, yeah, at home. He was like, at home. And I was like, at home. And I was like, at home. And he was like, at home. And I was like, oh.
Oh,
I was like, oh, I was at home. I was like, oh, fuck. 'Cause-
the familial home.
yeah, well, because
My childhood home.
well, because I had no, I was like, yeah, because I know like the date that we're moving out, but like in my head, at home meant I didn't have to go anywhere to be
Yeah.
here. But
Oh, I
won't,
still refer to my parents' house as home.
but I won't be living here, so I'll actually have to drive here and to not be alone on New, which was very weird for me. So I was confused.
I mean, like, because I imagine as well, part of it is it like on Addie's part, like it's a bit more of a you're away for school type thing, as opposed to just like I know you're a strong independent woman living on your own. It's fine, like I get it, but it's like your current living situation is more of a temporary stepping stone.
True.
But I will say as well, because like when I moved out, like I moved in with 60 and it was a thing and lived out of home for like quite a while. It took me about 2 years to be like, just stop referring to the two houses as home. Because for quite a while, like, you know, I had my home and then I had my home.
Yeah.
And only one of them in which did I live.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, yeah, it like has not at all sunk in. I don't know.
It'll take a few months after.
Yeah, I'm because my parents are like, "You excited?" I'm like, honestly, I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing, like properly moving out of home.
Yeah.
Because I know you've moved to the dorms previously and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
You did live in the dorms first, yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so surreal when you're actually like being like, I have a place that is my place.
Yeah.
That I'm moving into.
And it hasn't like at all sunk in. Like, well, especially because it's gonna be like, you know, 4 days after I move in, I'm probably just gonna spend the night here because like, you know, driving home like after midnight on New Year's is like
oh God,
not safe.
You're asking for trouble.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
You're asking to get hit.
Go to spend like New Year's with your parents and like you go up to what is currently your bedroom, which will soon be your old bedroom, and they've already turned it into something.
They've already been like,
You're like, all right,
fuck
guys,
you.
go to bed.
Oh yeah, by the way, she'll see in a minute. Your mom set up like a pottery studio.
Yeah, well,
You know, like empty nesters take up hobbies and stuff.
Yeah, no, I know it'll be weird though, because like there's gonna be several pieces of furniture that are in here that are not going to be in here.
Mm-hmm.
But even that, I'm like, no, that's not how that's gonna work.
So, are you taking the TV stand? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, because that TV stand's awesome.
I won the war.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, where did you fall on the room divider?
No.
You don't have room for one.
So, in any case,
Anyways, that's book club.
that's book club. So yeah, we'll try to fit one more in before it's the last time we do book club from here, but we'll see. Maybe not.
I'll have to see if 6 is working on Sunday.
Yeah, because it might also just be too busy. I might have too much to do that day or whatever. So,
We'll see.
you know, but yeah. So thank you guys for watching, and we will possibly see you guys next time in a new location. And yeah,